What's going on, everyone? We are Tottenham TV here. We have lost 1-0 to Chelsea in the Carabao Cup second leg at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is a disappointing day. Obviously, can't really complain about the result. It was a performance which maybe an improvement on the first leg, but wasn't enough to really worry Chelsea. I'm joined by Henry from Henry Wright TV. How are we doing, Henry? What was your thoughts on the game?
First thing first, pleasure to be here. Thoughts on the game? It's what we expected, really, didn't it? You know, some of the things about our game didn't really go to plan. You know, the decision making in the final third wasn't the best. We had lots of opportunities, but it is what it is. We have to brush ourselves down. Be good to hear from everyone as well. North London derby coming up. It just is what it is. I don't want to be too negative about it, but
yeah, I mean, it's one of those games I don't like. Obviously, a lot of fans are going to be angry just after losing any game, but it wasn't though one of those games where I'm looking at it and thinking, oh, you know, we lacked fight and it was pathetic and all these kind of things. That's not how I felt. Yeah, it wasn't that. It just wasn't that for me. It was just a lack of quality. They were better than us. We didn't have it in us. We tried. I felt like as try as you might, you're just never ever gonna lay a glove on them. It's like
the difference of golf and class.
It's like when a bully like holds a kid like that, and they're like exactly, and you just hold him like that. That's exactly how it felt. It was just easy for Chelsea to get through that game. Second half, we showed a bit more like we could trouble them. Look, a few things went our way with the goal and a few chances which we definitely should have done better with. For example, the penalty that we got overturned in the second half, that should have been a goal, like in terms of the move.
Yeah.
Not obviously it wasn't a penalty, but just I'm saying
the wrong decision.
Yeah, like Kane overhits the pass with 3-on-1. That should be a goal. That doesn't
play Gio, but you know, in hindsight, I thought, like we said, I thought Kane had a good game. I thought he tried, even in the 93rd, 94th minute, he's still taking on 3 or 4 players. But you know, we said all stream he hasn't got anyone around, and he's missing Son so much, and we've got to act on the transfer market. We have to.
Yeah, so I just think Conte, I think, got absolutely spot on. Literally exactly what I was saying on stream. He was like, as soon as we lose 2 or 3 players in the first team, we're in trouble. And I think that's the problem. That's exactly what we saw. I think our first team, I'm not saying our first team is City or Liverpool level, but our first team is okay. It's like decent.
Yeah. But
as soon as we lose 2 or 3, it's like all of a sudden we're like a bottom half team. That's what it seems. Or we're like nowhere near Chelsea's level. And now that was evident over the 2 legs. We barely laid a glove on them. Chelsea were far superior, and that's just reality. So it'd be interesting to see what fans' opinions are, who they thought stood out or didn't play well, and how they're feeling going into the North London derby. So should we start? Are we good? Yep. All right, let's get Ariane on. Ariane, my friend, how are we doing today?
Okay. I guess I'll just answer that with look. I think people are negative, but for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think there was too much wrong with our performance, bar the defense. And by bar the defense, I mean 2 players, maybe 3 or 4. And those are the wing backs, which make 2. Tanganga and Galini. Those 4 players, and I want to highlight Tanganga more than all, because I think he single-handedly cost us that tie. All 3 goals, even for the 3rd one, where Galini made a massive mistake, Tanganga lost his man. Every single time it was a Tanganga error that led to all 3 of those goals. He does not need to put on his first shirt, even for the first leg. After that performance alone, it's unforgivable. He single-handedly cost us our place in the final. I genuinely believe that if Dyer or Romero or literally Rodon, which Rodon can't play because apparently some kind of rib problems is causing him to have some trouble. Tanganga has literally cost us our place in this final. And I stand by that to the very end. I don't think he did anything right defensively in the major moments. I really don't.
Do you think he deserves the loan?
I think he deserves to be sold.
No, I don't. I hear what you're saying. I don't think necessarily selling him.
That's unforgivable for me. That's unforgivable for me. He didn't for the first half. But second half he was all right, I guess. But is that really what he can offer? He had a 2 or 3 game all right patch for us when Jose was here. He hasn't done anything since.
The thing is, though,
not done anything.
he's gone straight from the academy to the first team. He hasn't really had that loan to develop him. You know, Skip went out to Norwich, had that loan. It done wonders for him. You know, Tanganga hasn't really. He's kind of drowning at the moment, isn't he? And we can't really drop him for anyone because if Rodon's not going to play and Dyer's not 100% fit or Romero's injury, we don't have a choice but to play him. And like you said, every time he plays recently, he's at fault for both home and away. You know, he's at fault for pretty much every goal. And, you know, you can't defend it. But we don't have any other options.
It pisses me off because that game was so winnable. And I'm going to get into some of the other things in a second, but it was just, we didn't deserve to, like, the 3-0 scoreline it does not tell the whole story whatsoever. Nothing tells the story of what happened. There was VAR decisions, which I don't want to say they were incorrect, because I actually think they were fine decisions, but the game itself as a whole, 3-0 Chelsea, it would give this impression that Chelsea kind of dominated us for the whole 180 minutes, when maybe that was true for about 60 minutes of the game in total, if you want to put it all together, where Chelsea were just completely outclassing us. But for at least another 60 of those minutes, it was a pretty even battle, and for another 60 minutes, we were all over them. We were all, especially for the last maybe 30 minutes of this game, we deserved, for the last 10 minutes of the first half and for the last 30 minutes of the second half, we deserved to come out with something. We deserved even.
Do you not think Chelsea might have just taken their foot off the gas? You know, 3-0 up in the cup tie. They know they only got half to go. It's quite easy for them to, you know, kind of see the game out in that way. You know, maybe think the tie is won, and maybe that's how we got Lauda back in the game.
Well, sometimes when a team puts their foot off the gas, they can't get it back on, because that's happened to many teams. It's even happened to us a million times. Zagreb is a perfect example.
Yeah, but you look at the quality. They take their foot off the gas and they're still in control. We take our foot off the gas and we crumble and bottle it. The difference of the golfing class between players, you know, their bench, 60% of their bench, 70% of their bench walks into our 11.
That still doesn't. Yeah, even if it's a difference in quality, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if they take their foot off the gas, they're guaranteed to be able to plant it back on. Any team is always prone to that error of not being able to get back into a game. And even in the moments that we did get back, and look, one thing I want to say is there was some shocking refereeing decisions for both legs. And for the second penalty, fair enough. I don't even know how the hell that was even given as a penalty in the first place. Third goal, offside rule. It is what it is. First thing, and I want to say, I don't think it's a pen. I still think there's even an argument for that, because yes, Højbjerg clashes his own back ankle, but if anyone ever plays football, you know it's not exactly an easy task to have your left foot like slam your own ankle unless it gets caught, which it does. And I think if that's not given as a penalty, how is that not a red? He's last man and he's through on goal.
No, but he's going away from goal and there's covering defenders.
So how is it not a yellow then?
It should have been a yellow. I agree with that, but I don't think it was a red.
And then the first, like, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who was involved, but there was a clear elbowing situation.
That was Sarr on Kane.
Sarr on Kane. How was that not even looked at?
I don't know. I think we're clutching here, Arian. I think we're clutching here.
No. What I want to say is there's two potential major decisions, and VAR doesn't even look at the Malang Sarr elbow on Kane. It doesn't even look at it. Okay, fair play on ours. Sure, it got the right decision. I don't want to say VAR made the poor decision, but how come when you have a situation like that, it doesn't even look at it? Like, does you know what I'm getting at here? When it's not even checked.
I don't know. I think you're. Yeah, but you're looking at for the Sarr one last week. I think it was it's not clear and obvious red card for me. I think you can maybe make the case. I didn't think it was clear and obvious. The one today, I didn't think it was a red card.
I think, okay, and that's just the refereeing decision. But again, on our performance, because that's what this is talking about. I don't want to talk about the ref for too long. I only for a couple minutes, right? On our performance, I think we deserve to come out with something. I think that's the one positive we can take from this game. We deserve to come out with something, and the very, very unfortunate situation of having two best defenders, realistically, injured, and we have to put out our probably worst defender in the team, especially on current form, Tanganga, costing us all 3 goals, and also the really weird decision of having Golini in goal, which also doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think overall this game, the lineup, the performance, and everything, the two positives we can take from it is one, I think especially when it comes to our attack, maybe we were missing a final ball here and one thing there. we looked very promising in the last couple minutes of the first half and most of that second half. I think everyone can agree there. That second half showed a lot of fight. We definitely, scoring no goals from that is definitely very unlucky. Scoring no goals this whole game is very unlucky. I think we deserve to at least come out with 1 or 2. I think anyone can agree with that. And the other one is that the lineup, at the very least, I think the only thing it could have done, as confusing as it was with Doherty on the left and Galini in goal, is it showed, I think it was kind of a statement from Conte. It's like, look, this is what I have to work with here if I'm in a cup. Because in a cup, realistically, most of the time, even if it's a semifinal, a lot of the big teams don't play their strongest 11. Even in the semifinal, a lot of the teams in the Carabao Cup, they don't play maximum strength.
They might do if they haven't won a cup since 2008.
Right. Okay, but the point is, a lot of them don't, and in most
because they don't take it seriously. A lot
right.
of clubs don't.
No. Okay, I'm trying to convey my point here, and I'm doing a really poor job of it. The point is, a lot of the clubs, and big clubs especially, whether it is because they've won a trophy or not, they take one player here, a player here, and they play at least 1 or 2 or 3 second choice players. Conte's point with this lineup was, look, here's what happens when I do this. I have to play Doherty on the left, I have to play Galini in goal, and I have to put Winks in the midfield. He was quite good, to be fair to him. He was all right. But Conte's point to Levy was, I can't trust a single one of my second string players. I need something here.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said, didn't he? Right. I don't know if you saw what he said in the post-match.
So do you think that could benefit
interview
us in the long run because we can go and invest, or do you think?
I mean, no, I don't, because I think we should be investing anyway, whether we win, lose, or draw tonight. But he said in the interview, didn't he? I don't know if you saw it. He said, because he was asked about the North London derby, which we'll ask you about in a second, but he said how you're feeling about going into that game. And he said, well, let's just hope we have some players back, because we have a first 11, and then as soon as 2 or 3 players are missing, then we're in trouble. So is that just, you completely echo those thoughts? Or do you think he could have done anything differently tonight, in maybe tactically or whatever, that could have changed the result?
I mean, it makes sense for him to look. The thing is, you put Reguilon on this left back. We're 2-0 down against Chelsea. Let's say you put Reguilon, our amazing left back Reguilon. You put him in, and we know the way he plays. The guy doesn't know how to stop running. He runs for 90 minutes, potentially hurts himself, gets some kind of injury. He has to recover. He probably, out of everyone in our 11, he has to recover the most. We have a game in the weekend, the North London derby, our most intense game at home, our most intense game of the year. Without a shadow of a doubt, you need Reguilon fully fit and firing for that. It makes sense from Conte's perspective why you would not want to risk him. Now, why he didn't choose Cesare, I don't have a clue. But point is, it makes sense why you'd want to rest someone like Reguilon. And the point is, he's first of all saying Olivia, and the second is tactically it made sense because you go out here, Reguilon runs his ass off, and you don't come out with a win. All you've got is now a player who's half fit, maybe, for the Arsenal game.
But do you think if we would have started with Reguilon, we would have done better and potentially got back into this game? And the same question that I asked on the stream, what's more important, potentially winning and going through to the final of a cup, or the North London derby? Because the North London derby, in the grand scheme of things, is just for pride. It's one game out of the 38-game season.
No, because the North London derby this year is arguably even more important than this Carabao Cup, because it could be the potential of it could be what separates us and Arsenal for the top 4. The North London derby
it could be, but at the same time, would you rather get top 4 or win a trophy?
I'd rather get top 4 than get the Carabao Cup, because we get to the Champions League, which long term will benefit us because money.
Yeah, but Ariane, we're 4 points, we're 3 points, no, we're 2 points behind Arsenal with 2 games in hand. So technically, we could afford to lose that game and still finish above them, couldn't we?
Well, yeah, but my point is, if you're 2-0 down, a left back shouldn't be the deciding factor in a game. Can we agree with that? A left back should not be the deciding factor in a 2-0 deficit.
Well, no, in Conte's system, it could make all the difference.
But was Doherty really the reason we lost today?
No, it wasn't the reason we lost, but I think having too many backup players in the team was definitely a contributing factor, yeah.
It was a contributing factor, but the thing is, we still created enough chances to score 3 goals, even with Doherty on the field and off the field when Sassenio came on. I don't think the Reguilon decision was a major factor, and I think Conte's thinking is, look, if I start Reguilon, there's a really good chance that he's not going to be fit and firing for the Premier League game. There's a very high chance. There's even a high chance he can get injured with the way he plays, and in the game against Chelsea, he could always get heated. So he's thinking, okay, let me at least go ahead and save this one player. Now, the Galini decision is just the only thing that doesn't make sense to me, because he's a goalkeeper. I still don't understand that, and I'm not even going to try and defend that. The Reguilon decision, however, makes sense to me, because a player like Reguilon could take this midweek rest. We can afford that, because even after Arsenal.
But he didn't play the first. He didn't play the first leg, did he, Reguilon?
Did he play? Well, he was injured, wasn't he?
And he didn't play on the weekend.
Because he was rested. So then what was he rested for? The North London derby?
Well, okay. Well, yeah, probably North London Derby, because you have to also remember after North London Derby we have Leicester in the midweek, and then we have Chelsea the next.
So why not
weekend.
start
Those are
Sessegnon tonight?
three. That I don't really know. I don't understand that. I don't get it. But maybe it's because he's just come back from an injury. He can't run another 90 as well. That's probably it if I had to guess. Conte's strategy, I'm assuming, coming into this game was he put Doherty in the left wing back spot. We try and stay tight at the back, maybe go ahead a couple of times, at least take an early goal. And because Sessegnon can't run the 90, hopefully we've tired Chelsea out enough. We bring Sessegnon on, who has a little bit of a burst of energy, and maybe we can get another 2 goals or another goal or 2 late on. That was probably Conte's thinking of starting Matt Doherty and bringing on, because I think it was a given that Sessegnon was going to come on. I think that was probably part of the plan, and I think he just didn't start him because Sessegnon had just come back. That's my only guess.
He was also asked Conte about Ndombele today, about him being left out. He said it was a technical decision, but he would never make this decision if he hadn't spoken to the club first, and that that the club have a line and he has to kind of stick to that line. Do you think we've seen the last of him in the Tottenham shirt?
Yeah, some people are saying like Ndombele didn't play because Levy told Conte not to let him play, which doesn't make sense to me, because if anything, Ndombele would just up his little value in the market if that happened, and we all know how much Levy loves his money. I think what's happened is Levy's like, look, the guy's about to be sold or something like that. We're probably talking to a bunch of clubs about selling him. We've seen Ndombele, and I don't even think if Ndombele was involved in the squad, he would have played. He's played like 4 games or something, really like barely any games under Conte. He's probably out the door, honestly, and for better, honestly, at this point, for better. What's he done? He's our record signing, and he's barely done anything. He's had a 10-game purple patch last season. That's all he's had for us. So, I mean, yeah. Hopefully, I wish him the best, and I hope we get some money out of it, because that's the only thing I just hope it benefits both parties, a sale.
All right, Ariane, always good to speak to you as always, mate. Good to chat to you, and we'll see you for the game on Sunday.
We're still winning the North London Derby. I don't care.
All right, let's hope so. Me too. I'm in it. We're going to win the North London Derby.
We're going to win it. We're smashing Arsenal. They're frauds. They lost to Nottingham Forest with enough people to beat against Nottingham Forest. They brought on the big guns and still lost. Come on, you Spurs!
That's it, Ariane. Passion. That's what we like to see.
Love the energy.
Of course, Ariane always brings the energy, and it's of course probably because Ben Davis didn't make the mistake today. He's a big Ben Davis advocate. Let's get the Joracle on. Jory, my friend, how are we doing today?
Could be better. How about yourself?
Yeah, look, it was for me. I don't know about most people, but I wasn't so angry at the performance. It was just, it's just what I expected. It was just, I thought we actually did well for the players we had on the pitch. I thought we didn't have a chance looking at the lineup, to be honest. But what was your thoughts?
No, I think I would say it wasn't what I expected, because they played slightly better than I expected. And I thought the tactics and formation was a lot better than I could have hoped for. But I mean, I think what we're seeing here is basically the full breadth of Conte's competence and Levy's incompetence. We're seeing Conte put us into situations which we shouldn't be in with the squad that Levy has left us with, which is completely lackluster. I mean, if we want to be serious about, the ambitions that we talk about on this channel, for example, how many players do we have that qualify for that at this moment? I'm counting about maybe 5 or something like that. I'm just saying, like Kane, Lucas, Son, Lloris, Skip. I wouldn't even say Skip should be should be like a squad player in such a team. If you take like a Chelsea or Liverpool or whatever, what we hope to be a top 4 side, Skip wouldn't be like one of the most important players. He would be a good squad player in that team, and I would say the rest, they're kind of going from mid-table to to almost bottom of the championship in terms of quality. We have so many players now that are being played that should be playing in championship level football. So I think we're overperforming, believe it or not, and I think in terms of the players he played, like Doherty instead of Reguilon and stuff like that, I think it's quite clear that Conte is prioritizing top four. I mean, it's not clear. It's not a question of what we want. Do we want a cup or whatever? Come on, wake up, guys. If we don't get top four, the project's over. If we don't get top four, Kane is leaving in the summer. Vlahovic or anybody like that, or Cassie are not coming, and the party's over. If we don't support the squad now so that we can get the top four, Conte will be already working on his next prospects. So it's a big domino that's gonna go either way now, like in these weeks now, because the January window is not the biggest or the most important, but for us right now, if we don't do something to secure the top four, the party's over in my view.
Yeah, I unfortunately that's just the reality of modern football, and that's what players and clubs value in this day and age. So I completely agree, but. Yeah, go on.
But it's also like Conte, like even if Conte wanted the best for us and was all in with us and whatever, he knows that if he's not gonna get Champions League football, there won't be the revenue for him to buy as he needs to buy. And I think like Conte is going through the most pain of all of us. He is so like, this is so beneath him. He's embarrassed by being in this situation. Must be painful for him to play two games against this old club like this. So I think
and he was asked in his interview about the gap between Chelsea and Tottenham and the squad and the squads. And obviously he was asked that last week, and he gave a response about how it's clear for everyone how far Chelsea are ahead of them and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And you can't compare the situations. And he was asked again in the TV interview, and he kind of all of a sudden had a different kind of response. He was saying, look, I'm starting to get a bit annoyed and frustrated about these questions. Like, can we just move on? A bit more reaction. Like, do you think maybe it's starting to get to him a bit?
Yeah, because it's demeaning. He feels embarrassed by it. It's cramping his style, as they say. We're like something that he's. I mean, Conte has often been in a difficult situation where he needs to work himself out of it, like up from it. Like that's his speciality, man. But it's not in the way that where you just need to lay down and take it. And that's kind of what Spurs do, They take, whether it be players or managers, at their elite levels, Kane, Mourinho, whoever, eventually they'll just have to lay down and take it. Take the mediocrity, take the status quo, take the passengers on the field and off the field, and just carry them for an unforeseeable future. And that's not what Conte does ever, But he is now, of course, he's not giving up right away. I'm sure he's fighting for this window, but I don't think it's not looking good. We're halfway into it. I said it on my last call-in. Like, there's not like ambitious fans. Come on, this fan group is not okay. Ambitious fans never freaking let up the pressure on their board until they win. They get a week off when they have a trophy in their hand. That's the week they get off from fan pressure. Why the fuck are we always so lenient on the biggest liar in the whole Premier League? I don't get it. This was staring us in the face from as soon as the financial statement came out. It annoys the hell out of me. And we can all see that Conte has a plan. He has a plan for the system. He has a plan for Kane. He has a plan for Lucas. He has a plan for quite cheap players that will really make the difference, revolutionize the squad, I think. even if you take Vlahovic, is even cheap when you consider that he's bringing in a new Kane, really, a young Kane like that. That's the kind of a role that he's supposed to fill. Whether he'll live up to it, you always need to take a chance on that. But Conte believes that he's not bringing him in as a second-tier striker or anything like that. So we have a fully baked and ready to go formula for what to do, and it's the same shit as always. At least with Mourinho, he was trying to work with Levy. He was trying to revise and make new formulas, which surprisingly often kind of showed initial success. But with Conte, there's nothing to reinvent. He knows the way up, and if we don't want to go, well, then we're not going. Not even Conte can bring us if we are not gonna ourselves take the steps. And then I'm talking about the board and Levy, of course. So and it's ridiculous because money-wise, this is also extremely dangerous behavior from our board, because this will set off a collapse like no other, as we know. If Conte is burned now, then I don't know what the future is going to bring. If now, I saw some shots of Paratici. I'm happy to see him back in the dugout. By the way, there shouldn't be any freaking players telling him not to be there. He should exactly be there screaming all game, and everybody else working for the club. If we now do what we need to do, and I don't pretend to know what it is. I mean, for example, Conte is keen on Adama. I'm not too keen on him. I think there's a lot of like, you can see how immense the potential is, but you also can read how absolutely far off the mark he is when it comes to reality. But if anybody's going to change that, it would be a Conte. But if now we do what we need to do, if the board comes in and backs Conte and we get the top 4 spot, then I have some hope for us. But as it's looking right now at this moment, I think we're losing it. They're doing the same shit once again. They're doing a combination of incompetent deal making and dishonest communication with their manager.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, we got 19 days left of the window. A lot of deals to be done between now and the end of the window. Are you confident who we're gonna bring in that will be satisfied?
I mean, I'd like that's the silver line. I think we can take 2 good things away from this game tonight, is that the team actually played pretty well compared to what level these players are on. If you look at the team sheets of these 2 teams, we should be nowhere near competing with Chelsea, but we were, and we actually should have gotten something out of this game. So hats off to the squads for that, and hats off to Conte especially for good tactics and discipline there. But I would definitely say that the other positive thing is that, like I think you said it last game or something, that it's good that we get these shocks at this moment. We can react now. And what I want now from Paratici and Conte is, just like with the Manchester game, I want Paratici storming into Levy. This got to be over now. Just open the book, go into death. It doesn't matter. There won't be a brand to save if you continue this approach that you've been doing. So if we do that, then I actually think, I do think that if Conte can make a good wing back out of Traore, then our first 11 is definitely a handful. and definitely enough to keep us in the top four. It very much depends on if the other teams are going to continue and waste their chance to solidify their position in the top four. That's really also a big part of why we're still in the conversation, you know. So
just a quick question on that.
If
we don't sign anyone in this window, we have like an abysmal window, which we know we can, or we only sign Adama Traore, where do you think this team finishes under Antonio Conte?
Excuse me, say again. Yeah, you dropped.
I said if we only sign Adama Traore in this window, you know, we're linked with lots and lots of players every window, but if we only do sign Adama, where do you think this team finishes under Conte? Do you think we get top four, or do you think we finish just outside? Because we've still got 2 games in hand. We know West Ham won tonight, so they're up to 4th, but you know, massive game against Arsenal. But where do you think we finish?
I mean, if we get Adama and you know, and Conte is still, you know, doing his best and all that, then I can see us maybe getting top 6. I doubt it though. Without Adama or with Conte throwing the towel in, we're gonna be around top 10, I would think. And from there on out, we're gonna be on the lower half of the table for next season and so on. That's something that we'll be stuck with for quite a while after this. If this project collapses, that's my prediction. Because Levy, even if Levy came out and spent like the enormous, like got in a big like that, nobody will touch this club if they fuck this project up. That's for sure. So it's kind of like Manchester. I mean, you can't get any better pedigree than Manchester, and it's a rich club, and they've been spending like crazy. But nobody really with real ambition is going to touch that club in this moment now. You know, they want to see what's going to happen with that board. That board is clearly completely incompetent as well. You know, so you know, and that's where we will cement ourselves for quite a long time, I think, if this Conte project falls through. I have complete faith in if Paratici gets to run things, it'll be okay. But from what I'm seeing, it's like Paratici is nowhere near running what he should be running, you know. So he's finding the deals, I'm sure. He's talking on the phone and whatever. But Levy always has to be in there, and it shows all the way. And that's why it's not really working, this window so far, at least, you know. But hopefully this is going to be the wake-up call, you know. I think a little bit, I agree a little bit. I don't know who said it. Somebody said it before that Conte maybe sacrificed this a little bit, you know. And I do think there's a bit of that. Not that he wants to lose, but he understands that there's no way that we cannot end up with Champions League football after this season. If we do that, it's game over in his view and in my view. So,
all right, well, Jory, always good to talk to you.
Sorry, guys. I wish I could be happy about this. This transfer time is always kind of the most annoying, you know, until maybe the right at the end, and then, you know, they
try and make us feel good with a few exactly bargains near the end. We'll see. Look, I agree with you. I think we need top 4, and I think serious business needs to be done. And it's a shame that we're 12 days into the window and we're not even close to signing anyone. But let's hope that can change very, very quickly. So that's all we can hope for. But at the moment, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, Sim, I would love to ask you. I mean, don't you yourself feel like this squad of players are in general completely overperforming at this? Like the fact that we're competitive with this Chelsea team is really them going above and beyond their individual. Ability.
It's exactly what I said. I said, looking at the team, I'm not angry at the performance. I think we did pretty much like more than we could have hoped. Like as you said, I think today we're actually unlucky to lose probably today in the end in terms of this singular game. in terms of, like, obviously not over the tie. Over the tie, we're definitely the inferior team. But I thought today we actually played fairly well, and I thought Kane played really well, and some other players played well. But we didn't have the quality, and what cost us was Galini, Tanganga, these kind of players coming into the team who just aren't up to it, and that's what Conte keeps saying. But we have to move on. We do have other guests waiting in the background. Go on, what are you going to say?
Yeah, so no, I was going to say I mean, Golini, definitely that was a mistake, but he also made a really, really good save, so he's got to have props for that. So not that it makes up for it, maybe, but he's a young goalie. I don't, you can expect he's going to expect mistakes from young goalies, of course, But anyway, take care, guys. Great job, and
good to see you, Jory.
Let's pile on the pressure now. Let's give them no choice but to follow Conte's wish list, right?
Absolutely, you're damn right about
All
that.
right. Yeah.
Let's go, Jory.
Levy
out, as always. That's the Joracle giving his thoughts on what he thinks are the priorities so far this season. But let's move on. Let's see what other fans have got to think about today's performance. Let's bring on Abdul. You'll come on now. Hey, Abdul, how you doing, my friend?
How's it going, man? Do you guys hear me before?
Yeah, we hear you. You're not on mute. No worries, man.
Yeah.
It's always the worry.
Yeah.
Look, we're at the Carling Cup, or the Carabao Cup, sorry, at the semi-final stage in 3-0 on aggregate. What were your takeaways from what you saw from tonight's performance?
Like what Henry Wright was saying. A couple times there's a serious golfing class between the two teams. You see that Chelsea, to be honest, they're better than Tottenham, or they're more deeper in every aspect of the pitch, whether it's the back line or the midfield or the forward line. They just have so much more options, and like the players that they were subbing on was and you see the quality that we're subbing on. It's in totally different levels. There was some decisions that Antonio Conte did make in terms of team selection that maybe I kind of disagree with. To be honest, I don't know what's the deal with Matt Doherty and him constantly playing him at left wing back. I don't really see eye to eye with that decision, to be honest. And it kind of looks like when you hear reports of like we're trying to sell like guys like Dele Alli. Like what happened to talks about Dele Alli? It's like he's never in any rumors, but like you hear like at the beginning of the transfer window that we're trying to get rid of like Ndombele, Dele Alli, and like Matt Doherty, and then for a player that supposedly we're trying to ship out, we're playing him a lot, and in these big moments too, when, for example, like Matt Doherty got subbed on a couple times at left wing back. I think it was against like Southampton or something, and then it's like again he's playing today, and he played last game against Chelsea in the first leg. And we have a player like Ryan Sessegnon that's there, that's healthy. Like I understand Doherty playing last game, but I'm not sure about this game. Like I don't know where that leaves a player like Ryan Sessegnon if he's not the first player that should be playing over when Reguilon is injured, or he's not even injured, but I guess maybe he's resting him. But like I know there's nothing really wrong with Reguilon. I know he's gonna play either next game or the game after. He's still in the plans. What I'm trying to say. So.
Do you think he's doing that to make a point? Sorry to cut you off. Do you think he's doing that to say, look, this is our backup. These are our fringe players. Because these are the same fringe players that lost to Vitesse, Mura, Zagreb, struggled to beat Morecambe. It's all the same sort of players.
Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming with that point in terms of trying to kind of highlight the deficiencies that we have to our board members, to Daniel Levy, to Paratici. The players, the people with the big voices, try to highlight to them that, the clear golfing class between the two teams and the disparity. I understand that, but I think that's too big of a risk. I don't think Antonio Conte would be doing that. I don't think he would. I don't think he would. Sorry. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. I don't think he would kind of make that kind of point. He would make that point and kind of hinder his team to make a broad point. I guess us fans, we would like to kind of speculate like that, but I just feel like he, for some reason, he kind of I'm not saying he likes what Matt Doherty offers because that sounds crazy, but for some reason
What
he
does he
just
offer though?
prefers it.
You know, he's not. He
Maybe
can't play right wing back for us, and we're playing him left wing back. You know, and
maybe
then
he
why
just
was Reguilon
yeah.
out of the team? No, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, just I don't know. Maybe it just has something to do with just like seniority. Like he just likes kind of like older, more experienced players. Because yeah, Doherty is shit, but like at least he's more experienced than Ryan Sessegnon, and he may be better in terms of keeping an organized backline. Like he's more risk averse, I guess, in comparison to Ryan Sessegnon. That may be the only reason why, just simply because of seniority and just he's just kind of a player that maybe he sees eye to eye with Matt Doherty. Matt Doherty may be the more like intelligent player, so he may understand Antonio Conte's system a little better. But the thing
He's
is,
more predominantly a wing back, isn't he? You know, Sessegnon played wing back a
yeah,
lot for Fulham and then played wing. But the question I had to everyone in the stream, and the question to you is, would you not have preferred to play Ben Davis at a left wing back, and then maybe if Roden was fit, play Roden over Tanganga? Because obviously Tanganga was
maybe.
mainly at fault for all 3 goals in both games.
Yeah, I understand that. Like Ben Davies, even though attacking wise he may not be that great, I think Ben Davies does have a little bit better like end product. I've never criticized Ben Davies' ability to whip in a ball into the box. But it's just that, it's his physical capabilities has drastically decreased. Like back when, Pochettino was here, maybe like in 2017, 2018, people really underestimating the impact that Ben Davies had to our team when we were challenging for the title. I remember like those maybe like a couple of years in which I think Ben Davies maybe even had more appearances than Danny Rose one year. Like Ben Davies has been a great servant to the club, and I always appreciate for that. But like his offensive capabilities and his just his physique has definitely decreased. But I think he's kind of just deciding to leave Ben Davies at left center back because I do think that we're not going to get another left-sided center back in this January window. So I think at this point it's just trying to give him more experience in that position. And I think he kind of sees Ben Davies as a more reliable left center back. So I guess just like no need to kind of make one spot weaker by transferring Ben Davies to left wing back. Just the best thing you can do is, I guess, let the left wing back position be a little bit weaker, but at least your back three is as solid as it can be, considering the injuries that we do have. And it's just like I've always said this a lot of time. Like I just feel like the players like Hoiberg is good and all, but like I just feel like his ability to control the ball in the middle of the pitch. I don't think you don't really need a destroyer when playing like a 3-4-3. Or like even in Antonio Conte's system, I just want players that are good with the ball. Just
Yeah,
guys who
and
are
that's the
just
problem.
intelligent.
Sorry to interrupt
Like
you. We
yeah,
don't
like
have a ball
yeah,
playing central midfielder. We don't have an Ericsson. We don't have a Dembele who can just glide through, players and make it look
exactly.
like it's effortless. This is the problem. We,
Yeah.
we need to
Like
go out and buy some sort of creative midfielder in this team because we can't keep relying on Harry Winks or Hoiberg or Skip to be our creativity or Lo Celso. When no one really
yeah,
knows,
like
what is Hoiberg a defensive midfielder? Because when he plays for Denmark, he's more of a box to box. We don't really know
yeah, like
what he's best at.
yeah, I don't think it's really I don't think people should be comparing like club football to international football. I think there's a massive difference between the
Yeah.
two. You always see players that kind of thrive in like you. It's rare that you find a player that thrives in club football and then always disappoints in international football. It's usually the other way around. And when he's playing for Denmark, when like again he's playing with another player like Thomas Delaney, who's I think Delaney's pretty decent with the ball at his feet. And again, international football is a lot more slower. You're not going to come up against a team like a Chelsea that's just going to press you in the midfield and that has the ability to pass it around the back and around the midfield and be that cohesive. I mean, you're comparing the play style from international football where they're playing like 7 games a year to club football. So I don't think people should be comparing because, when I see people like, oh, look at Hoiberg, he's so great when he plays in the Denmark national team. His ability to have assists, because I remember like in the Euros, I think he was leading the whole Euros in
Yeah, he
assists.
got
He
a
had
few
like a
assists,
couple of
didn't he?
assists. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, let's just take a deep breath. Let's just kind of relax because international football is much different than Premier League football. So yeah, but like I guess like my thoughts on the team kind of remains the same. Like definitely like from Emerson Royale, it's clear that his end product is not great, but there's one thing that he has to be able to do, and it's at least is beat his man. Like I understand, like they had Callum Hudson-Odoi playing as what was it, their left wing back, sorry, and we didn't even notice that he's a makeshift winger that was transitioned into a fullback because Emerson Royale at no point in the game and he decided to kind of challenge him. And like Emerson Royale, like I don't want to kind of like focus too much on him because I do think he is being harshly criticized. Like, yeah, his end product is just terrible. And considering the fact that we did pay 25 mil, which is I don't really think is money well spent in that situation, but like again, at least he does play hard for the team. And like defense wise, he doesn't really make too much errors. And I think he's more of like a typical right back rather than a right wing back. I just feel like getting someone like Adama Traore, yeah, his end product is also garbage, but at least he has the ability to like just like when the game is slow, he can kind of just take on his player, and then all of a sudden it kind of opens up the game. And we're not going to pass through a team like Chelsea, or we're not even going to pass through a team like Arsenal. Arsenal has a pretty decent midfield. To be let's be completely honest. Maybe their midfield may be shit because Thomas Partey is at AFCON, which he is a big part of it. But like we don't really have the ability to kind of just like give like those 1-2 passes and have like 20 passes in the midfield and put that defense splitting pass. That's not really how we play. We kind of kill teams through our wing backs, and at least Adama Traore can cause an impact hopefully. But yeah, like this the depth in this team has always been a worry. I mean, like the clear difference, and it seems every year that like our fringe players and our backup players, they seem to be getting worse, and that issue seems to be that issue of a lack of depth seems to be more glaring every year that we play, and it's truly a worry. Like I like the you have to kind of operate in the same way. Like the truth of the matter is, you have to kind of get with the times, and you have to spend big now to be successful. Or if you're not going to spend big, then at least you have to make good purchases that are that you know what you're getting. Like for example, a team like Liverpool, in which Liverpool doesn't really spend big. They have on some positions, the Van Dijk and Alisson, but at least they got him players like Shaqiri from Stoke. He was like 12 mil. Listen, he's not the greatest player, but they knew what they were getting. It's money well spent in that situation because he played in the Premier League. He knows the Prem. He kind of fit in right into the system, and I think that's the path that Tottenham needs to take. It's like I don't think they should be going in for like these bargain signings from the Italian league or the Spanish league. I just feel like there's truly like it's really important to get players from the Premier League that knows the system. And I think that, we're so kind of drawn into getting players from other leagues because we see what they can do, like players like the Sassuolo striker, the Scamacca, whatever his name is. Like, don't get me wrong, they're good and all, but I just feel like it's truly important to get a player from the Premier League. Like you look at a player like Højbjerg last year when we got him, he slotted right into the team. He had a pretty bad, maybe like the first game when the first game we played against Everton in which we lost 1-0, he was pretty poor in that game. But like the second game on, he was great and we loved him because he knew the Premier League. And I feel like we kind of need to let's not forget about that. Like there's some other good Premier League players out there. Like, yeah, we may want to get like some 50 million midfielder from like a Lyon or whatever. But like why aren't we trying to get someone like Ruben Neves? Somebody that knows the Premier League. Like I feel like there's like this fantasy of getting a player from Lazio, but like they kind of look down from getting a player from the Premier League. And I just feel like
Do you think that's
yeah,
because
but like
there's a Premier League tax? Like a lot of there's a lot more money in the Premier League than there is in the other leagues, and sometimes when you've got a scouting network like Paratici has in Italy before, and he obviously knows a lot of the clubs very well. Hence why we're looking at all of our 60% of our signers or so probably will come out of Italy for the next 18 months. Do you think that's purely because they're cheaper normally? If Vlahovic played in the Premier League, he'd be maybe 120, 130 million rather than a 50
Yeah.
or 60.
Yeah, like I understand a situation like that, but what about a player like Golini? Like I mean, like we bought a backup goalie for like I forgot how much it was. Maybe it was like 15 mil
It
with
was on
like
a
a
loan
you
originally, isn't
know
it? It's on a loan.
Obligation to
yeah
buy, isn't it? Or an option to buy.
yeah, but I'm sure like if we kind of trigger his clause, like if we play him like a certain amount of appearances or caps, we would have to pay. Like it's some like it's a good business move. There's a lot of underlying facts, but like I'm sure like what about a player like for example like Sam Johnston from West Brom? Like they would be around the same value. But like I feel like I kind of appreciate whenever getting a player from your own league that kind of knows the league inside out.
Doesn't
Like,
have to adjust, basically. Just can slot
yeah,
straight
yeah,
in.
like you exactly. You don't have to go to a Bayer Leverkusen or whatever. Like there's that same player, you can get him in the Prem. And I understand when you're talking about players like Tariq Lamptey, like that's a clear Premier League tax. Like Tariq Lamptey should never be worth 50 mil. He's not a 50 million pound player. Of course he's not. But like maybe another player, like maybe if you can get like I don't know, maybe like a I don't know, like maybe like a Ruben Neves, like he's not 50 million. He may be like 40 or 35, but I think that's money well spent. Or like a James Ward-Prowse. He'll be like, I don't know, like 30 mil, whatever. That's money well spent. Like you don't have to go out there across to a different league because I don't really we're not in the really in the because we our squad is kind of built weirdly. So like we have a lot of young upcoming players like the Brian Gill, but we also have a lot of players that's kind of in their golden years. So, do you get players to try and maximize our chances of winning games? Do you maximize players? Do you maximize Harry Kane's time that he has at this club, or do you try to build long term? So
What
it's
would you do out of the
definitely
term, out of the two? Would you sell Harry Kane or would you build?
not for me. I'm keeping Harry Kane and I'm getting older players to be quite honest with you. Like I'm not saying go out there and spend like 60 million on like some 31-year-old. But like I feel like even a player like Perisic, I feel like he'll be a good job as a left wing back. I don't think he'll cost as much. I know there's the fan base is really split on that. They kind of want younger players, but I just feel like you have Harry Kane now, we have Heung-min Son now. Why aren't we tried to we have Antonio Conte? Those three are pretty much, they're pretty short term. Like let's be honest, like Heung-min Son is damn near 30 years old, and he can play well into like maybe like his 32, 33, with the advancement of sports science and all. But like I think we should be maximizing, our potential that we have right now. We have the young players, the Pape Mantasar and all. That's cool and all, but like to keep you afloat and to keep you, I guess, relevant for when those guys do come into their prime, you need older players to kind of keep you afloat. And yeah, that's what I feel like we should just be like getting older players that could maximize our potential. Yeah.
Hi, Abdul. Always good to speak to you, my friend. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we'll speak to you in a
yeah.
bit.
All right. Thank you for that. Have a great day.
Yeah, take care.
You
Thanks
too,
for coming
man.
on.
Nice to see you, man.
Peace.
All right, let's keep going. We have we got Brian Daigle on next. Let's get him on, and I'm sure he's got plenty of things to say after today's defeat. Let's get him on. How you doing, Brian? You all right?
Another semi-final, another defeat, but it's all okay. We're progressing. We're getting to these semi-finals. It's fantastic. Let's keep going. Mate, we are embarrassing. We are embarrassing. A London derby, a second leg where we have to come out fighting, and we see that. We see that. We are embarrassing.
Was that do you think it's cause of the players not caring enough, or do you think it's more just, what do you think that's down? Like, what do you think?
Like lack of ability?
Was it lack of ability? Like, do you blame the players for tonight?
Mate, the players, listen, we've said it before, there is a fundamental problem with the mentality at this club. There are players, listen.
What's that down to,
You have
though?
certain, It's down to, you know exactly what it's down to. It's down to one thing.
Don't
one
even
thing
set him
only.
off, Henry. Don't even,
not
you're
trying to
trying.
get him as advocate or anything,
You're
but-
trying to
Listen,
prod him. You're trying to.
I'm not trying to.
I'm gonna be, mate. Listen, let's be box office. Listen, Levy, let's do it. Listen, Levy has nothing to do with the performance on the pitch. He has everything to do with the fact that they are on the pitch. That's the problem. That's the problem. Don't get me wrong. We all know how I feel about Levy. Once they cross that white line, there's nothing that man can do.
Okay. This is okay. Well, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do you think the players who were on the pitch could have done more than they showed tonight, or do you think that was the best they could offer?
And not only that, Conte didn't pick our strongest 11 available. Lloris was on the bench. Reguilon wasn't available, so you do have a point.
Reguilon, God knows what's happened to Reguilon. He went off at half time in his performance against Southampton, hasn't been seen since. Or I think he might have come on for a few minutes here and there. We have a left back in Sessegnon, ready to go and would have been attackive, creative, or at least have those attributes. But we play a right back that's not good enough to play at right back at left back.
So do you blame Conte for that?
Mate, do you know what? And I've been saying, there's a few people talking about this. I don't know if this came up in your stream or I don't know if you've been talking about it on the fan show. I don't know if this is him sending a message. I don't know if this is him sending a message. This is what I've got. I mean, Lloris is obviously the Lloris one is a weird one. Like in the second leg of a semi-final, this is when you drop him. I mean, unless he's picked up a little knock and he's concerned about Sunday, then I get it.
Do you think he said to
then why have him
Galini?
on the bench?
Do you think he said to Galini? Sorry to cut you off, Brian. Do you think he said, I've agreed to have you as my goalkeeper, and when Galini went on his loan deal, he said, I've got to play a certain amount of games. Obviously, Lloris is going to start every league game. You'd hope, touch wood, unless there's an injury. But do you think he said, in his contract somewhere, there's a certain amount of games? Because let's be honest, we've only really got the FA Cup to play for now. Is FA Cup the top four?
Well, the thing is, mate, I would have said that with the goalkeeper if he hadn't played Lloris in the first leg at Stamford Bridge.
I don't think Galini was on the bench though for some reason last week.
No, we had two goalkeepers on the bench that day because that's what we do. That's what we do. Such is the squad in depth and the strength here that this is what we do. And listen, mate, Lucas Moura, you cannot doubt this guy's dedication, commitment, and what he's incredible. I think Emerson, if he crosses the ball, his feet fall off because he just can't do it. I think he's scared that if he actually makes a successful... I mean, Simeon, you and me were there for Palace. I think that was his one successful cross in his whole time.
In 4 months.
Winks played okay. Davis played okay. The rest... I mean, Tanganga. What the hell is going on with Tanganga?
Do you think he needs a loan move?
He needs a loan move desperately because the thing I've nicknamed him Street View, as in Google Street View, because all we do is we like that yellow guy in Street View on Google Maps. That's all we do when we have a hole with the defence. Oh, let's just drop him in there. Let's drop him in there. He needs to go on loan like Jose did with Sessegnon and say, right, you're going to a team, your future's at left wing back, you're going to a team that will play you. We need to identify what his position is, whether it be right, whatever the club decide. I think it's right centre back of a 3 or a centre back on the right, not right wing back or anything. But if Conte says I want you to play there, then fine, play there. But he needs to play. His confidence is shot to bits, and then obviously, let's get. Do you know what? I've seen that game was just so horrific. I don't even want to talk about it. Let's get on to the juicy stuff, the real stuff. The Adama Traore now to be alone.
Alone with an obligation to buy.
Yeah, but you know what? And see, obviously, I can read Levy like a book, and I am fluent. I am fluent in talking shit like Levy. So what's going to happen is it's an obligation to buy. Yeah. So but apparently we're having this big spend in the summer. If we get him on a loan with an obligation to buy, 70 million of our summer budget is done on Romero and Adama. Done. So whatever you were thinking we were going to spend in the summer, 70 million minus it straight away for those two loans with obligations to buy. Now, Simeon, obviously, you and me were doing an update New Year's Eve. I was with Ben all last week. We're thinking of making an interest. Yes, we're confirming. Yeah, we might do. Yeah, we might. Levy goes to Bermuda, but Bahamas. I wish it was a Bermuda and he got lost in the fucking triangle. But literally, he goes to the Bahamas, whether it was for naming rights, whether it was for investment, whether it was for to discuss transfer policy. Then Simeon, I was in the car with you yesterday when we said he's back from the meeting and we said we want this, 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 and this. And then within a day, we've gone from making a £20 million bid to making a loan.
Brian, just quickly, do you think, I'm not trying to be devil's advocate at all, do you think Levy is banking on Conte to get top 4 just so we get that Champions League money? And the other thing I would say is, Paratici, I'm not defending him at all because I'm Levy out just like you are. You know, I was at the protest just the same as you two are. But do you think Paratici is gunning for these free transfers? You know, Jesse Lingard, Kessie, etc., etc. So we don't have to go and spend this budget that we might not have. And with free transfers, the only thing that I'm leaning towards not going for the free transfers is you always have to pay higher wages. You know, when Aaron Ramsey signed as a free transfer for Juventus, he was on 400 grand a week. We're not in a position to go, do you know what, bring a free transfer in, but you're going to be paid more than Harry Kane and Hugo Lloris.
When are people going to wake up? There is no budget. There is nothing.
There's money there, but there's not money for a transfer budget because
there's money to build
and Nina have got more money than sense.
There's money to build a hotel. There's money to build that.
And a golf
money
course.
to go on players. Money to go on players. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. Why would a football team want to invest in players?
We're just
That's
an insurance
stupid.
policy. That's all we are. Levy's got all these little businesses, and it's don't worry, I've got money stashed away with Tottenham when it all goes tits up.
So no, mate, listen. You've got to look at this as well. If Daniel Levy is banking on top 4, he thinks he can do it with that squad. He thinks he can do it. Mate, I openly confess I spent 8 months in a mental health institution. If he thinks we can get top 4 on that, he needs to lock himself into one himself because he's deluded. He's deluded. If anyone in this community, anyone of the Spurs fan base, anyone in this chat actually think we're going to get top 4, and the only way we do it is if other teams struggle. You got to remember, we've lost to Chelsea twice now. We got the filth on Sunday. Then we go to Leicester. West Ham have got ahead of us in the 4th or whatever.
And
if we don't win if we don't win Arsenal, Chelsea, and Leicester in the league, those 3 games we've got in hand are pointless.
Brian, where do you think? I've asked the last 2 people that. Sorry to interrupt you again. Where do you think, looking at this team, say we do get Adama Traore on loan, right? Obligation FC. Where do we finish? 7th, 8th, 9th?
No, mate. Do you know what? We've yeah, all right. So, yeah, that's right. I'm just like, top 4. I'm only joking. Come on, top 4. No, mate. I think honestly, the Conte factor is huge for us. But you can see he is starting to get pissed. He is starting to get pissed. Again, he wasn't very animated on the touchline. Like literally, I mean, it was the first time I'd seen him when I went Palace with Simeon. And I couldn't believe it. I was saying to Simeon whole game, oh my God, look at him. He's incredible. Look at him. Look at him. He's like, dance for me, monkey, dance. He's literally, he's non-stop. Has no idea what his technical zone is because he walks anywhere but there. But today it's just pacing up and down.
Is Levy seeing that though? Is he seeing that, you know, we're not seeing the fan cam anymore? Is he actually seeing that? Because you've got I don't want to upset any Pochettino fans. He was an amazing manager for us. But Conte is in the peak of his powers. He's probably the best manager we've had in 40 years. At that elite level we're bringing in. Not coming off the back of a Pochettino who had to build slowly. We're bringing in someone who's just won a league title. Right, if we don't back him, then we're going to, like I said to you, we're going to get a Graham Potter and we're in the same old shit. We have to deliver.
Henry, so you asked me, can Levy see this? So let's play a different kind of game. So that parasite, that great businessman, that footballing genius, wanted Mourinho for 20 years, yeah? Scouted him for 20 years, tried to get him. Saw Mourinho go everywhere he went. What did Mourinho do? Spend millions, win trophies, turn toxic, leave. At every single club. The first thing he was guaranteed was the money to buy players. Oh, I want him. I've wanted him for 20 years. He's so great. He's so brilliant. You bring in a guy that wins medals everywhere he goes. Oh, yeah, you can have Matt Doherty. We won't get you we won't get you Skriniar. We'll go get you Joe Rodham. This is what we do. We get to a final, what I hired you to do. Oh, I'll sack you before it. How long? This man can't see. This man can't see. He has. I can't actually believe he has the nerve to turn up today. I really thought literally. I was hoping he had jet lag, but I'm telling you now. And the thing I'm really concerned about, and I was talking to Ben about this earlier, is if we lose against Arsenal, and you can feel the tension in that stadium tonight, it's going to get toxic again. But this time, I can guarantee you, no one's going to be singing Conte out. So what you're going to unfortunately have is Levy in versus Levy out. And this stadium is going to be even worse. Because I don't know, everyone going, yeah, do you know what? We're making progress back in the sugar days. We didn't get to semi-finals. We didn't get to finals. Well, do you know what? I'd rather we didn't get to a semi-final and play that performance. Every time we get there, other clubs, when they see players or managers, let's say managers, when they leave and go, I've taken the squad as far as I can go. When you see these players can't get the job done and can't get it to a semi-final or can't get to a final, when we get there, can't get it over the line, instead of saying, do you know what, we've tried this, I think we've got as far as we can go with you, we're going to upgrade you, we give them new contracts. That's what we do.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I mean, we've done it for the last 20 odd years, but I know you're pretty much like myself, and you try to call things as real as possible. Hand on heart, do you think we'll beat Arsenal? Judging off the performance we played today, I know your heart's going to say one thing, and your mind's going to say another. You know, with potentially no Dyer if he's not fit, no Reguilon because he's nowhere to be seen, no Heung-min Son for injury. You know, do you think he will get a reaction out of tonight's defeat and we'll go and beat Arsenal?
Mate, you'll never, ever hear me say we can't beat Arsenal. I just can't say it. I'm not programmed to do that. I just don't. I can't say it. It's not looking good. And I'll tell you one thing right now. If Dyer's not there, forget it. That's how bad it, or not how bad it is, because Dyer, no, I take that back because Dyer has been super. But we can clearly see just how vital that man is. And people that have been saying, oh, do you know what? He's not been playing well and he's not doing good this season. He's not done this. He's not done that. Well, what you notice with a player that's been playing well is you notice him when he's not there.
100%.
And you can, like with Ollie Skip, when he didn't play against Arsenal in that embarrassment in the first half of the Chelsea game when we lost 3-0 in the league. As soon as he comes in, you know he's there. Eric Dyer, even the people that are Dyer out, Dyer's rubbish, Dyer's whatever, he's not up to grade, we need an upgrade. Yeah, we might need an upgrade. I think everyone's upgradable apart from Kane, Son, Romero, Lloris. But you can blatantly tell that defence is missing someone passing from the back. It's missing leadership. It's missing communication. Like I had this discussion with Simeon yesterday. Ben Davies did a great job at Chelsea, but there is a different level between Dyer and Davies in communication. And you can clearly see it. And if Dyer is not there on Sunday, big problems. I agree
with you. And that's kind of what Conte was saying in his post-match interview today. He was saying how he was asked about the North London derby going into it, and he was asked, how are you feeling about it? What are your opinions on it? And he said that we just got to hope we have to hope we have some players back, because we have our first 11, and if 2 or 3 players are missing, then we're in trouble. And we saw that tonight. Yep. And that's exactly what Conte's saying about the North London derby. So I think it's absolutely spot on, and we better hope Dyer is back for that game. Otherwise, we could be in big trouble.
Oh, mate, we are. There is. Well, put it this way again, mate. I had that debate with Ben. Jesus Christ, I almost went a whole interview without saying it the wrong way around.
Nearly did it.
I almost, Simeon, so close. So yeah, I completely lost my train of thought there. What was I talking about?
You said you were talking to Ben, having a debate with Ben about...
having that transfer debate with Ben last Friday. And people were like, calm down, it's only a week. Well, now we've passed a third, and the day before Arsenal, we're halfway through the transfer market.
And what's
Halfway
happened?
through. What's happened? We're still thinking about registering a bid. Do you know what? I'm going to read.
Brian,
My
the
mate
question
said,
to you is, why can't we do this? Why have Aston Villa signed Coutinho in 24 hours on loan, and now they're on the verge of signing Digne? Why have Newcastle just brought in our old right back, who is an upgrade on Emerson and Doherty, in 3 or 4 days? Why are we're considering, we're looking? Why is it the same old shit? And it's regardless of the owner, because the money's there, but why does it take us an eternity to get any business done?
mate. Do you know what? This is before I started to come on YouTube. This is what you see with this parasite. So, do you remember when we signed Lucas Moura?
Yeah.
I was going mad on my WhatsApp groups because Lucas Moura arrived the day before deadline day and was in London. I woke up on transfer deadline day. It was the first transfer deadline day that I was in Canada. Aubameyang flew to Arsenal and signed from Germany. Giroud went to Chelsea and signed. And Batshuayi went to Dortmund to complete that triangle and signed before we signed Moura. All in one day.
It's not how we do things, Brian.
Mate, honestly, I'm not joking. Literally, I could have a full-on Cody Mack beard by the time we get a transfer done. It is goddamn ridiculous. This has got dragging this out till deadline day written all over it. But once again, don't worry, things are going to change. Conte's here. He's been assured money. Woohoo! It's coming. It's happening. It's not my first rodeo. This has been happening season after season, window after window, and still nothing changes. Yet still people say, yeah, well, listen, you've got to take that. Let's wait till the summer. Oh, no. Conte's just come. You've got to give it. And when you say Villa, Gerrard's been there quicker or shorter than Conte.
And they've made two signings.
You put Conte and his medals and his achievements next to Steven Gerrard as a manager. Who are you going to back? Oh, let me think. Antonio goddamn Conte. What do we get? Mate, like I said, get ready for me protesting outside the training ground as of next week. Every single day.
Next week? Is that confirmation, Brian?
Well, it's not. Put it this way. I actually wanted to do something tonight, but then what happened?
Tonight?
Well, I'm not going to go into details now because we might do it at Arsenal. In fact, fuck it. I will tell it. What we wanted to do is, rather than protesting during the game, because obviously you've seen it, Simeon, and it's hard to get it going, whatever, we were not going to leave the ground. And a few of us were all going to get together and just start screaming it whilst the press was still there, when no one's there, so the press will see us, and hopefully the press will get it. Because it's worth... Why try and do it with 62,000 people when only a certain amount will join in, when you can get a big group or a small group, whatever, right by the press club? Oh, well, why are these guys still here? And then start screaming and shouting. So that's going to happen after Arsenal if we lose. And then if we still sign no one, and we lose to Arsenal, my plan is to be outside the training ground every single day apart from match days until the deadline day. People know this. I'm already getting people saying they're going to join me, but obviously we know what happened with the protests in last time when a lot of people on chat say they're going to come, I will be there. I don't care if I'm by myself. I don't care. I'm here for a short amount of time. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do.
All right, Brian. Well, let's just hope we sign someone before Arsenal because...
and you know what? I'm going to win and Simeon, congratulations, because you and me are going to win the lottery in every single country in the world before then. So we're all good, because that's the chances. So we'll see. But yeah, enough is enough, mate. I want my Tottenham back. We want our Tottenham back. And like I said, people may be with me or against me, but the people with me also know the man behind Levy Out and what I stand for and what I'm like and know me off camera and off this Levy Out bandwagon. And I'm a man of my word, and I'm only here for a limited amount of time, as we all know. It's not like I'm here all year round and I can do what I want when I want. In regards to this, I have a short window to do this. to make my voice heard where I can actually be at the ground, on the training ground. So I am going to take that moment. I must admit, so many people came up to me in the ground sim, and I was like, "Well, said, oh, Dave," and I thought some of them were going to go, "Oh, Brian, shut up, we'll leave it." Every single one of them, Brian, I salute you, I salute you, I salute you. Carry on, carry on. So the support is there. The support is goddamn there. But anyone that still leave you on the fence and leave you in, and they phone and come in, or they put on Twitter, "Oh yeah, look, we got to a semi-final, we're making don't ever phone into these things or tweet, "Oh my god, this is pathetic." You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. So yeah. And I've just seen one of my brothers, and I'm gonna have to sing his name because I've just seen him in the chat. It's Danny Kiriakou. Mate, people were singing that to him. People were singing that to him when they came and saw him. Oh, mate, it was fantastic. But yeah, listen,
Love it.
I'll let you go because you've got the guy that's about to come on, I love to pieces. Top boy. So I'm going to give him as much airtime as he needs. So, Henry, I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah,
Simeon, I'll speak to you very soon.
Nice one, Brian. Good to see you as always, mate.
And as always, Levy out.
Love it, Brian. That's all. As always, Brian Daigle going nuclear, as he loves to do. But no, I think to be fair, he does make some valid points. As much as we should be, obviously, the window is still quite a bit of time left of the window, so there's still, enough time for deals to be done. There isn't any reason why. Look, all this stuff about like Conte needed an extra month to evaluate his squad, and that's why everything get delayed. But whose fault is that? Whose fault? Why is everything delayed? Why is he why does he need an extra month in December to evaluate his squad? Is that Conte's fault?
Not at all.
No,
it's poor management by leaving.
Why if Conte should have been here in the summer, and then he would have had the whole summer to evaluate his squad?
And we probably would be in a much better position now.
Oh, of course we would.
Not only that.
So why do they deserve patience? But why do they deserve patience now when it's their fault that we need patience? If you know what I mean.
These are the same players that lost last year to Dynamo Zagreb and got kicked out of the Conference League.
But as much as I want signings now, unfortunately, the reality is they've put us in a position where.
Do you think we'll make signings?
I think we will. Yeah, at least I think two.
Two signings. So what? Maybe Adama.
I think Adama's going to come. I think that's pretty clear. I think that's just a matter of terms of the deal. I think.
And then, do you think we'll be selling baby oil down at the store?
100%. I'll be getting some. And then I think I don't know who another one, but I think it'll be two. I think it'll be Adama plus one more. I can't. But I think
maybe a centre back or a forward.
I think we'll struggle to get rid of Dele. I think we'll struggle to get rid of Ndombele. I think we'll struggle to get rid of
I think
Doherty. I think Bergwijn, because we clearly have a buyer, he'll probably be the one to go, which is annoying because there should be players going for him.
Ajax are interested, and they've just agreed to sell David Neres.
Yeah,
he's a better player than Bergwijn, and he's going to Shakhtar Donetsk.
Well, let's keep moving. Let's get George on. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, George, how you doing, my friend? Nice to see you. You're on mute, mate.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Can you hear now?
Yeah, that's all good. That was Brian Daigle making a lot of points just before you, and he was also saying how much he loves you just before. So you can take those plaudits. But look, we're out the Carabao Cup today as of the semi-final after losing 1-0. What were your thoughts on the game as a whole? And what do you think? Conte's making some very interesting comments post-match about the state of the squad and about how, we don't really have good depth. So what's your takeaways from what you saw today?
Yeah, I just thought it was really unusual tonight. I mean, we obviously fielded a weakened squad, in my opinion. I think tactically we didn't set up right, knowing what Chelsea were like as well. I can't understand what's going on with continuing to play Doherty as a left back. Just seems so odd. I mean, I'm not saying he's doing a bad job there, but to put him up against Chelsea, he's just out of his depth in that position. And I just think tactically we just didn't set up right. I mean, Lo Celso looked like a fish out of water, I think, in my opinion, most of the game. I don't think that I just don't think he's been the same player that we originally saw trying to break into the squad, and it just seemed very, very dysfunctional and just men against boys at the end of the day. We were just getting bullied on and off the ball.
Do you not think that we were better than we were in the first leg? In the second half we were not unlucky. Were we not unlucky to get at least one goal?
Ben, that's not saying. Sorry, Simi. It's not saying much that we were better than the first leg. I mean, the first leg. I mean, it was just we didn't turn up at all. We definitely played better than in the first leg, but dreadful mistake in order to let the goal in at that point in time. We didn't really look like we were going to score unless we were going to play it over that midfield in front of the strikers. And to me, it was just logical that we needed to do that. To try and play it through the wings and get crosses in from players who are struggling to do that, I just thought it just was nonsensical. In my opinion, I just think that Conte had already decided that we weren't going to win this tie, and that he had bigger fish to fry. I think he's got one eye on trying to make top four. We do have the players that are able to perform. We proved that against Liverpool, but I think we've forfeited really the Conference League and this cup to try and aim to get as high up as possible to see if we can get a top four position and try and still be in the FA Cup. But Brian raises a very relevant point. I just cannot see that squad of players making top four. I just can't see it. There isn't enough creativity.
You said today I was about to say, you said today the game tactically you don't think we set up right. So do you blame Conte for that? Do you think Conte is culpable for how we set up today?
Honestly, I kind of do. And it pains me to say it, but I don't want to say that I'm losing faith in Conte, because I mean he's Conte and I'm me, and he's there for a reason, and I'm here for a reason. So I'm losing faith in what he can do with that squad of players, and I'm not convinced that we will have enough money to buy the players that he will require in order for us to make top four. My disappointment is that I'm still a trophies man and not, we've just got into top four, whoopee. It just doesn't, for me, it just doesn't sit right. So again, I mean,
the money's nice, but you don't get a trophy for finishing fourth, do you? 13 years without a trophy.
I don't want to sound as though I'm saying sort of when I was a lad, but I have to. But when I was a lad, we were sort of winning the FA Cups. When the FA Cup was, I mean, it was close to being more prestigious than winning with the old First Division. I mean, it was the glamour cup to win. I mean, you were a kid at school and you would be lined up to buy your rosette as to who you wanted to win the FA Cup.
There was all the build-up, wasn't there? All the games were at the same time. It was absolutely massive. And then the Champions League has kind of drowned that out a little bit, hasn't it? And the FA Cup's not really as prestigious as it once was.
Well, it's not. I mean, again, I mean, I imagine you guys were kind of brought up in the 80s. I was sort of brought up in sort of a decade before that. And the FA Cup was just a massive event. And the build-up to it was 2-3 weeks kind of before. That's all you would be thinking about and talking about, and it didn't matter who was in it. You would always watch it. It was really high up there. Okay, look, the Carabao Cup is the Carabao Cup, but for me it's still, there's still a lot of history with Tottenham in that sort of piece of silverware.
You look back in a few years' time, don't you? And no one goes, "Oh, we finished fourth that season." You look back and say, that was the year we won the League Cup, or that was the year we won the FA Cup. Fourth is just third loser. If you look at it in a trophy perspective, yeah, you get the Champions League money, but would you rather win a League Cup 5 years in a row, or would you rather get Champions League 5 years in a row? What are you going to look back on through the history of this football club?
Yeah, and that's it. And your support base and what the club decided to call legacy supporters. I guess I'm one of those. they look towards those trophies as the bedrock of what of what they build their support on, and the lack of those, unfortunately, and Brian saying my plaudits, I'm going to sing his plaudits. He says it like it absolutely is, and the sad fact is that the board in our club is incompetent because it can't see that. Now, going back to what Sim says is, do I blame Conte? He's been given an agenda, hasn't he, by the board? This is what we want you to achieve. This is what we want you to do. I mean, I've heard rumours that Mourinho wanted desperately to win that cup for his own reputation, probably more than anything. But he wanted to win the Carabao Cup last season. But he was told by the board and by Levy that his priority needed to be trying to get a top 4 place, and that was why the whole situation really fell apart. And
Correct.
I think that's just appalling. Yeah, I think it's just appalling that should be the Tottenham Hotspur agenda, really, to go on, and it's at our cost at the end of the day. So the supporters' cost. We're the ones buying the season tickets. We're the ones who are buying the merchandise. We're the ones who are spending hard-earned money on our beers and our one of their own pies and everything else that we're spending at the new stadium. So I mean, look, the board have got to decide whether they're going to back Conte, bring in the players to actually achieve something, or whether he's unfortunately going to go by the way in the same way as Mourinho and Poch, and we'll be left in a position to make a decision then at that point as to what we do to try and change their opinion.
It's interesting that you say today in terms of the performance, because when I looked at the performance today, I actually wasn't too angry about it. I didn't think we deserved to win or anything like that. But in terms of how we played in relation to what players were on the pitch, I actually think they did okay. Like, that was probably the best I could have hoped for them to play in seeing as who was on the pitch. I was so disillusioned with that lineup. I thought the lineup was terrible. I had no hope of us going and winning that game. And actually, in the second half, anyway, we did show some fight. We did create some chances, although we didn't make the most of our opportunities. And we could have probably got a goal or two in that second half. And that's not to say that I was happy with what I saw or anything like that. But I think the point I'm trying to make is I actually think Conte got the most out of what was actually on the pitch for me than it was anything to do with what Conte did wrong.
Look, saying Conte did something wrong, I think is a slight misnomer or a misusage of the term. I just thought that Chelsea, it was up to us to create and score 3 goals in order to go through and try and win the Carabao Cup. It was down to Tottenham. Well, it had nothing to do really. Chelsea were going to set up in a way which was to say, okay, come and break us down if you can do it. And we showed exactly what we showed against Morecambe, exactly what we showed against Southampton, in that we just didn't have the prowess on the field in order to do that, to break them down, and they had their own danger men that could pick us apart, if we made the slightest of mistakes. And we were bullied, we were knocked off the ball. I saw Rudiger bully Højbjerg during the game. I don't know if it was seen on the screen when after a set piece corner, he literally just sort of shouldered him out of the way. I mean, it was so obvious all around that field who was winning the psychological battles. That's got nothing to do with Conte. I think what I'm saying is that had Conte been desperate to win that game, I think we would have fielded things slightly differently and our tactics would have been different. But I think he was conscious of getting injuries in the wrong places. And it was like I said, I just think that it looked like men against boys out there.
Yeah, and it's frustrating as well because if you look over the two legs, like where the goals come from. You know, last week, 2 mistakes from Tanganga pretty much cost us 2 goals, and today a horrific error from Galini. So it wasn't as if Chelsea had to be brilliant to beat us. It's just, you know, the players is exactly what Conte said. The players coming in for the first teamers are just not up to it, are they?
Yep, absolutely right. I mean, yes, and I think, look, you can work up. Brian mentioned that he wasn't animate on the touchline, Conte, and it's because he really, I genuinely believe that he thought after that first, do I really need to send these players out there fired up to get injuries? Because I know what what I've got ahead of me. I've got Chelsea to play away. I've got Arsenal to play at home, and in between that, I've got Leicester, and I'm looking to chalk up points on the board. I've got to try and beat Arsenal at home, and if I do that, all is forgiven. And look, let's get real. If we beat Arsenal, that semi-final will be very quickly forgotten. And if we go to Chelsea and we manage to get a draw, again, I think that things will be very quickly forgotten. However, as you rightly said, as supporters, our expectation is to try and get us trophies. And when we're in a position where we are so close, and we see that the performance is not up to scratch, then, as me anyway, I'm going to be exceptionally disappointed. And I was very disappointed watching that today.
All right, George. Great call as always, mate. Always good to see you. And hopefully we'll hope for a better result in the North London derby. But we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, take care, George. Thanks for coming on.
Come on, you Spurs.
See you, mate. Come on, you Spurs. Okay, next up. Is this the last one? No. Yeah, last one. All right.
The main event.
Exactly. Closing the show with an absolute banger. Let's get on Coach Stell. And by the way, before I start, I just want to say, can everyone go to Tottenham Away and subscribe? Because not enough of you are going on subscribing. Go to Tottenham. We all love Coach Stell around these parts. So let's get the We Are Tottenham TV army to go and subscribe to Tottenham Away. Go on YouTube now and go over there. But Stell, great to see you, my friend. Disappointing result as always against Chelsea in the semi-final. It's not the first time we've said that. But what was your opinion on what you saw out there today?
How you doing, Sim? How you doing, Henry? Good show tonight, guys.
Thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. The first thing I want to say, because I've got quite a few points. The first thing I want to say is the Chelsea fans are an absolute disgrace of a human race, and they are the most abysmal group. We had a medical emergency in the South Stand, and we don't know if it's serious. We don't know whether it's just a mild situation, but the game got stopped for 5 minutes. The paramedics, the medical teams ran into the stand. The stadium went quiet. Everyone was very concerned. And the Chelsea fans were singing, "Tottenham, get battered," everywhere. How dare you sing chants against Tottenham when that is happening, man? I just... Sim, you know what?
Yeah, well, look, I was there at Watford when it happened, you know, and you just got to be like quiet and just got to hope for the best.
Got to be respectful.
Exactly, respectful. That's the word I would say.
Bases, this is the fan base that smashed up that calf in Italy and then started beating the owner up. They are the worst fans of all.
Vile.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I didn't know that happened though, Sel, but that's terrible to hear. That really is horrible.
Yeah. It happened, and then a couple of Spurs fans started booing, and I think that kind of shut down the Chelsea fans. But it was unacceptable, man. And I just wanted to mention that because no one's mentioned it tonight, and that really wound me up. So yeah, now I've got it off my chest. Okay. The match.
All right.
So when I saw the team lineup, the first thing that I thought was, and I was chatting to Mr. K, Brian Daigle, Danny, Ben. There's quite a few people outside the stadium, and even some fans that I was just chatting to inside the stadium. It just felt to me like Antonio Conte just waved the white flag and said, "Sod this. We'll just go out the cup." Because the team selection for me, you do not play a weakened team against one of the hardest teams in the land. We weren't out of the tie. Okay, it was a long shot for us to win it. We all thought we were going to get knocked out tonight, but he didn't put his best team available, and effectively he threw in the white towel. Now, whether he's done it to prove a point to Enoch and Levy, or whether he's done it because he's been told by the board top four is more important than the Carabao Cup, so he's focusing on Arsenal, or whether he himself wants Champions League ahead of a trophy, I don't care. You don't do that, and I am going to put that on Antonio Conte. I'm not scared to call out this manager, because what he did tonight I thought was out of order, and I don't think you come into a club on the basis that we want trophies, we want success, and you do that. We've seen that Doherty doesn't work on the left side. He doesn't even work on the right side. So he puts him out there. He was terrible. Tanganga needs to be pulled out of the team and just given a break. The guy, like Henry said earlier, he needs to go on loan. And I mean, he's just come back into the squad, and we're playing him in the hardest games of the season, Chelsea twice. That's not how you develop the kid. I felt that playing three up front again was a terrible tactic, because how do you get the ball to those front three? There's no one in the middle that can do that. We're so deep with those two defensive mids. And to be honest with you, he got that wrong as well, because it wasn't until Skip came on that we rallied. Skip turned the game for us from what I was seeing. He gave us that extra something in midfield that pushed us forward.
Well, why do you think he didn't start still? Sorry to interrupt you. Why do you think he's not starting that game? Because he's the only one out of the the midfield that we played that brings the energy. And when we played that midfield against Liverpool, the reason why we were competing is because we had three in the middle. When we play this double pivot, we just get swamped every single game. We just get overrun because we don't have enough bodies in there. We don't have a ball-playing central midfielder who can make that, defence-splitting pass. I'm not saying that Skip can do that, but he gives you more energy in that midfield.
Skip's just a better player, full stop. That's what it is. I don't know why Conte pursues with this tactic. It doesn't work. This 3-2. Three at the back, two wing backs, two holding mids, three at the top. It doesn't work against good teams. Good teams will suffocate the midfield, and then they nullify us. And he's obsessed with this wing back play. We don't have the players to play the way he wants. We simply don't. Against Norwich, Leeds United, Brentford, maybe I don't even know who's at the bottom of the table anymore. Maybe a Newcastle,
Burnley,
that will work,
etc.
because those teams aren't very good, and we can create enough to win a game. But when you're playing Chelsea, we've got Arsenal on the weekend, United's, West Ham's, all these teams, Cities, even Aston Villa. We're going to get found out because teams just suffocate the midfield, and they know we're not good enough down the wings. I don't know why he pursues with it. Maybe it's a case of, this is how we're going to play. I've got to drum it into them. And eventually, when I get my players, everyone's used to this system now, and those quality players will then be the final piece, and it all clicks. But this is a semi-final of a cup, man. You just got to win it. Just win it, and we're through to a final.
Win it regardless of the scenario. You just got to give it everything you've got.
And Henry, this was my worry. And I said it in a lot of WhatsApp groups. I said it on social media. I was saying it to so many people. We should not be happy that we're out of Europe. Europe was our level. The Conference Cup was our level. That's where we genuinely belong, because that's how that is a barometer of how good we are. Stay in that competition, play your best team, win it, lift the trophy, let them laugh at us for winning the trophy, but they're laughing at us more now that we're at the cup. Win the European Conference Cup, guarantee European Europa Cup football, a trophy, and Europa Cup football. That is progress from last year. But I was told, no. Let's focus on the domestic cups now. It's good we're out of Europe, because now we can win the Carabao Cup and now we can get top four. I don't know what fans are thinking. I honestly don't know where fans got away with thinking to mug off a European trophy because we're better than that when we weren't. It's this delusional thinking in our fan base, man. And it just, it winds me up, because it was so obvious we weren't going to beat Chelsea in that semi-final. They're so far ahead of us. You've mentioned it tonight already. Both of you said that Chelsea are 10, they're way
boys
ahead
against
of us.
men, isn't it? That's the difference. And speaking on that Conference League as well, the annoying thing is when we play these fringe players, these Tengangas that need loans, these Rodons, these Sessegnons, these players that we call fringe players, even in the Conference League, though, that you can't beat Mura, who was something like the 397th lowest ranked team in Europe. The quality of player in our team is the worst it's been in probably 15 years.
Well, Henry, I'm going to slightly disagree, okay? I'll tell you why. In the short term, I agree. In the European Conference Cup, you've got to play your best players. If we're going to win the European Conference Cup, we've got to play our first team. We can't.
Yeah, sure.
We can't
agreed.
depend on the second string. Okay, but I would have done that. However, in the long term, a lot of the players that we're having a go at the moment are actually a lot better than what we think. Not all of them. Like, I think Doherty will never find his feet at Tottenham, for example. But there's other players that will become good. The problem we've got at Tottenham, hands down, and I've seen enough of Conte now to know, I like to believe I know my stuff on this. When we sacked Poch, what we should have done, well, we should have backed him and kept him, but if you're going to sack him, bring in a manager that is a continuation of Pochettino. So bring in a Ten Hag, a Nagelsmann, a dream Pep Guardiola that's going to play Pochettino football, possession-based, high press, quick attacks, full of goals. But what we did was we went completely 180 and brought in Mourinho, who plays low block, defensive, doesn't care about possession, plays long balls forward, and just hopes that the two stars up front
The counter-attacking football side of it.
Right, so that damaged a lot of the players that had come into the club. That is not Lo Celso's football. That is not Ndombele's football. That is not how Sessegnon played for Fulham. So all these signings that are coming in, they were bought for Poch. But now you're bringing in a manager that plays a different system. Okay, we got rid of Mourinho. You then bring in another manager, Ryan Mason, who's clueless. He doesn't have his coaching badges. He's never managed before. Of course, that was a disaster. So then we spend 2 months finding another manager, and you bring in Nuno, who is a repeat of Jose. And that was no shots, no attacks, no goals, the worst stats we've ever seen. And it's like, for 2 years, we have messed around a lot of these players. We have mucked about with systems and tactics and philosophies. And now Conte's come in, and there's no plan here. So for me, the solution isn't just go and spend loads of money and get loads of players or back Conte. For me, the solution is, what do we want? If you want to win trophies, then just bring in players that are elite level, that are just going to deliver, and an elite manager will win you trophies. If you want to build a team that is going to be successful for the long term, then you need to develop a style of play, a way of playing, and bring in players that can play that system. But you've got to be patient. It takes 2-3 years. How is it Wolverhampton Wanderers and Brighton play better football than Tottenham? Are you telling me they've got better players than us? Are you telling me their squads are better than us? They're not. But because when they sacked I forgot his name, is it the guy that's gone into Wolves?
Bruno Lager.
Yeah. He is a continuation of what Nuno was a year ago. That football that Wolves were playing when they were really good, this new manager's come in and he's said, right, let's keep that idea, that way of playing, but I'm going to improve it. And look at them. They're brilliant. Potter's been at Brighton, I think, 3 years now. He's had time to embed the style, the play. If Brighton win their game in hand, I think they go 5th. So these teams have spent years of having a way of playing, and they bring in managers that are going to play that way. We don't do that at Tottenham. We chop and change managers and systems, and in the process, our players have got lost. They don't know what they're doing. They know in 6 months' time the system's going to change because the manager's going to change. And this argument of, but if you're a quality player, you can adapt. Yeah, but not to the extent that we're demanding. Ndombele plays holding mid. He's not a holding mid. Brian Hill, he's a left winger. Sometimes he plays right, sometimes he plays left, sometimes he plays in the middle. Tanganga, 1 week he's right back. Next week, he's right of a back three. The other week, I think it was Southampton away or Watford away, he played attacking wing back. It's like, what are we doing?
Similar to Celso as well. He's here, there, and everywhere.
Another one. I'm not saying these players are brilliant, by the way, but what I'm saying is they're better than what we're seeing. And I don't blame Conte, because he's come in, he's got his way, and he's going to need his players to do it his way. But the board, there is no continuity. There's no plan of how the football team, how the club wants to play, and how you're going to back the manager to play that way and go on and win trophies doing it that way. We just chuck random players at random managers and hope it all clicks. And when it doesn't, we blame the managers.
Correct.
We blame the players and the managers. And I just, for me, sorry, because I've been chatting a lot here, but
It's all right. No, but that's the problem when you have, for example, managers who identify players who they really want, and then the board comes and says, well, we can't get him, but we'll get you this guy who you didn't really want, and you just better hope this guy fits your system. And that's been happening for many years. And as you say, if you want a long-term manager who builds a team, it takes time, and that's what we had with Pochettino. But obviously we chucked that away, didn't we, to bring in a win-now manager, Mourinho, and that has clearly set us back quite a bit, that happening. And I think you're absolutely right. I think these players like Ndombele and Lo Celso are not absolute rubbish like we've seen. They're not like because Ndombele and Lo Celso, ever since they've come, they've been a disaster. Let's not get it right.
Been mismanaged.
No, massively. These guys were class.
This was my argument I've been having with so many people. I've had some heated YouTube and podcasts the past 2 days. I'm trying to say we have mismanaged our players, and psychologically they're shot to pieces, some of them. That's no excuse for Ndombele to walk off the pitch slowly.
No.
For me, I look at Ndombele and he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't like the way the club's run.
All the body
he doesn't
language
like
is
the change
wrong,
of
isn't it?
managers. But Henry, I'll tell you whose body language we need to worry about. Antonio Conte.
So
He's not jumping up and down. He's not. Did you see his press conference tonight? He's been gagged. Iggy, who does Tottenham Away podcast with me, YouTube. Iggy knows Italian football inside out. He's a massive AC Milan fan. He follows Serie A. They watch all the games. He does the AC Milan Instagram live channel with them. He's well into his Italian football, and he called me up tonight and he said to me, "Stel, look at the video I'm going to send you." I watched it. He goes, "He's been gagged. That is not Antonio Conte. He's been told not to speak. They've silenced him."
But what happens here?
And that is worrying.
Do you not? Sorry to cut you off, but do you not think we're in a situation where, he signs an 18-month contract, right? We bring in this serial winner who comes off the back of winning Inter Milan their first title in 10 years. The last person did it, Jose, right? We bring in this serial winner. We don't back him.
Yeah.
Right? It's a disaster waiting to happen. He's not the sort of man that is a yes man that will go out and be the puppet, be the Graham Potter or the Steve Bruce, this and that will get fed the bullshit. He will kick off. And he's in the position to go, do you know what? I can walk into every job in world football at the moment. I'm in the peak of my powers. When we got Poch, we had to build slowly. Conte is in his peak. And it's a disaster waiting to happen, because if we don't back him this month, we bring in Adama Traore, who's, a juiced up Dwayne Johnson version of the average winger you've got, because he's got no productivity in the final third. He's awful. Not saying he's a terrible player, but where do we go from here? Because you can see there's not even a Conte cam anymore. We've won games recently, and all the Twitter and the social media are going nuts about, let's look at the Conte cam, because our manager's loving it here. Within 5 weeks, his entire body language has changed, and that's all because of Daniel Levy. So what happens now?
I think the early signs of Conte being broken are there. And I agree with everything you've just said. What happens next? Well, it's only going to go one of two ways. Either one, they back him. Then they back him, but properly. 2 or 3 top players now, and then a good 6 or 7 in the summer. We need 7, 8, 9, 10 new players if we're going to play Conte ball. If Conte's going to stick to this way of playing, he's got to flush out half the squad, and we just need to take the hit on it. Are we going to do that? I don't think we are. So if he does walk, it's going to be anarchy. It's going to be the fan. For me, it will be the turning point with the fans. I can't see how any fan will have a leg to stand on to defend the board if this happens, if he walks. I
agree with that. And that's why they need to get this window right, and they need to but it's not, because there's so much damage already been done to this squad. It's not about getting this window right. It's about in the future as well, continuing to back him in the right way and listen to what he needs to make us successful. Because Conte isn't a manager to be accepting top 4 every year. He wants to win it. That's how he lives. That's how he breathes. He wants to be competitive. And it must have killed him tonight, looking at the gap. And you saw, I don't know if you saw his post-match interview. He was asked. So I
No,
don't know
I
if
just saw a clip.
So last
saw a
week,
clip.
he was asked about the gap between Chelsea and Spurs. And he said, as you can see, there's a massive gap. And you look at the squads, there's a big gap. And then he was asked the same question tonight. Today you lost 1-0 and you're at the Cup. And what does that say about the gap between Chelsea and Spurs? And he said, you know what? I'm getting frustrated and I'm getting just a bit angry about these questions keep being asked. Can we just move on? And he was visibly getting angry about it. And maybe those are early signs of him feeling that frustration.
But how do we deal with the frustration though? That's the point.
He has to get back
But
Chelsea anyway.
We all know he's not gonna come out and give them the 150, 250 million.
Do you know what I'd love to see? Right, I've been lucky enough. I've spent a bit of time, very briefly, in the Ajax academy, just observing, not coaching. No way. I mean, they're next level. Right, just observing, just to learn, and the way that club is run, from academy to quality of coaches, all the ex-players want to come back and coach there.
It's all the same style the whole way through, isn't it? For the academy to the first 11.
Mate, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And then all these youngsters, they break into the Ajax first team, well, most of them, or they sell them for big money. And that season that Ajax beat us, that we beat Ajax in the Champions League in the semi, Ajax, for me, were the best footballing team to watch in that comp. They were outstanding. And after the Champions League final, a lot of those top players got sold. Hakim Ziyech, De Ligt, and so on and so on. And that team got broken up. But they kept the philosophy. They kept the manager. And then the next batch of kids have come through. Anyone watching this show now, go and watch Ajax. Go and watch Ajax play football now. They are fantastic.
Watch
They're
Gravenberch.
brilliant. And that's called continuity. There's a succession plan. Like, right, when this ends, what's the next 3 to 5 years look like? At Tottenham, under this chairman, this board, this owner, the only continuity plan we've got is for the property, the stadium, the academies, the value of the business, the global marketing, the global increase of fans. They've got a brilliant long-term business plan. But on the pitch, there's no continuity, man. There's no plan of where we're going, what we're doing, what they want to achieve, how they want to build this club to be something that the rest of the world says, you know what, we want to copy what they're doing there. And we will never have that with this owner. They just take these random punts. We got lucky with Poch. We got very lucky with Poch. But since then, it's random punts. Oh, Nuno, oh, Galini, oh, Fabini, Didini. I don't even know these people.
Do you think they're just trying to please the fans by going, okay, we've got Conte, we've given you the serial winner, now let's see what happens? Because when we got Poch, everything fell into place. Kane was coming through the academy at the right time, got put into the first team at the right time. We got lucky maybe signing Dele Alli because no one knew this £5 million guy from Milton Keynes would turn into a player of the season and this and that. Do you think everything just fell into place at the right time?
The perfect thing that happened for us under Poch was there wasn't this level of competition. Liverpool were roughly at our level. Leicester had that one brilliant season. Man City were in a rebuild. Arsenal were in tatters. Man United were in tatters. Chelsea were kind of here or there. We struck gold with Poch at a time when a lot of the other top clubs were in turmoil. Now, Man City are dynamite. Liverpool is still good. Chelsea have got a fantastic squad and a good manager. Man United, they've got the squad. They just need to sort out the manager. Arsenal are on the up. West Ham, they're fourth. They're building. The competition now is harder than ever. So Tottenham Hotspur have got to make a decision. Either you back this manager and throw whatever it takes at him, for him, should I say, and go for gold. And you back him for 3, 4, 5 years. Just keep keeping him happy every year and just try and win as much as you can. Or you say, right, we can't do that. We've got to be honest. We're not going to do that. We can't do it. We're never going to do it that way. Sack Conte and bring in a Poch type manager and tell the fans we need to go for a 3-year rebuild of young players, an attacking philosophy.
Like a Ten Hag, for instance.
A Ten Hag and smart buys like we did when we first bought Dele Alli, like when we bought Ericsson for 10 million. Really good scouting, but you've got to bring in a top scout like Mitchell, not Paratici. Paratici's not a good scout. He's just got good contacts. You bring in a Paul Mitchell and you rebuild and you try and replicate what you did with Poch and you tell everyone, we need 3 years, be patient. But are the fans going to accept that? I don't know.
No, because
I don't think the
they
fans
won't.
would accept
They won't
it.
because we developed. We did that under Poch. We got to a stage, and then it's now all of a sudden we're back to square one. All of a sudden, it's like it's like as if Poch never happened. All of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's like we're back to where we were, and that's what fans are going to be impatient about. They saw the process of us not just building as a team, but as a club. You know, the club we were when Poch took over is not the same club we are now. It's a different animal. But it's almost like we've neglected the football side for those crucial periods where we were on top and actually had the chance to kick on. And now from footballing perspective, it's as if Poch never happened.
We're actually worse than when Poch took over, because before Poch we were getting Europa Cup. We don't even get that now. We're in the Conference League, so we've actually gone a bit backwards. And we had Harry Redknapp got us fifth, fourth.
Yeah.
Then Poch came and he got us top four, semi-finals, finals, second, third.
Top four got boring when Poch was in charge. That's how
it was
we took it for granted.
Yeah, we took it for granted. He normalised overachievement,
mate. And there was a progression from Redknapp to Poch. There was a progression, and as fans, we liked that because we could see there was a direction, there was a continuity. The past 3 years has been an absolute shit show from the ownership of this club. It all rests on them. Everything rests on them. So I don't know what we're going to do. Are we going to go and drop 200, 300 million pounds and buy 6-7 world-class players and slowly ship out the players that Conte doesn't want? Is Conte going to stick around for that? Because that's going to take two years. It's not all going to happen in 2 windows, man. It's not.
Has Conte ever done a rebuild of this magnitude? Because his last 3 teams, Juventus, Inter Milan and Chelsea, he's all won a league title at. And they've been probably 80% of the way there. He's just maybe added a couple of signings like Inter Milan, Eriksen, Hakimi, Lukaku, and they're there.
Yeah.
We need an entire new 8 or 9 players.
I think for me, the biggest kick in the teeth is the fact that what this is costing us in revenue from Champions League and what this is costing us in money misspent on transfers. If we actually backed Poch and kept him, it would have actually been cheaper and we would have been winning trophies and probably back in the Champions League every year. This is actually the biggest backfire ever. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest with you guys. I genuinely don't know. I'm probably the only fan that will say this. I genuinely don't know if Antonio Conte is the answer to Tottenham, because I don't know if we're going to be a Conte club. I don't. And if we're not, you need to hit the reset button and start all over again and try and replicate that Poch model, but with a manager that can get it over the line, but you've got to back him as well. So I don't know, but what I'm watching tonight, the football's rubbish. Some of the substitutions, they had an impact, some didn't. The tactics and the formation, it will not work over the course of the season because he hasn't got the players to play it. I don't think he's going to change up the system either, because he's now kind of locked into this battle with the board to show them up and almost play the fans off the board. We're at a juncture where something will give, but I just feel it's not going to go the way we want it as fans, unfortunately.
I think in terms of how we're playing
really
and Conte and stuff, I think when we come up against the top teams like we did today, Chelsea and City and Liverpool, then of course we're going to get found out. But we got to remember, we're still under Conte, 5 wins and 3 draws in the league. We are still picking up results. Still picking up. It doesn't matter. It's still picking up results, and that's over a decent stretch of games.
The only team we've really played
it's 8 games. It's nearly half the Premier League. It's 8 games.
Yeah, you are right. But when it comes to these big
games,
games, they're all bottom 10 teams.
Doesn't matter. We're getting results consistently. You still need to be a good team to get results consistently. And no, my point being is that I think he is showing that his method can, and his way of playing can get results, and we can play it when our first 11 is available. But as Conte was saying tonight, and I completely agree, as soon as we have 2 or 3 injuries, and then we're playing against a team like Chelsea tonight, it's all going to fall apart, and I think that's what we saw. But I think in terms of top 4 and stuff, look, if you look at our competition like West Ham and Arsenal and Man United, I don't think they're that much better than us right now, even with our problems. I really don't.
When we are not getting top four with this squad.
Well, who is?
I said it.
Who is? What, are West Ham squad much better than ours? Is Arsenal squad much better than ours?
Who's going to get top four?
West Ham and Arsenal.
Man United is, but is their manager better than ours?
For me,
West
the
Ham
best team
and
out of the
Arsenal, to be
bunch
fair.
is Arsenal. The best team out of the
agree.
bunch is Arsenal. And when they get their players back from AFCON, they're not going to just suddenly fizzle out. But I stick to what I said before to you, Sim. If we buy 2 or 3 top level players, and I mean a Vlahovic, a Kessie, a Lamptey, all right, we will get top 4 hands down because we've got the best manager. But I don't care about top 4. I care about trophies and real success. To do that, we've either got to throw mega money at this manager, or we've got to hit the reset button and bring in a manager that's going to develop the youth. He's going to teach them from a young age. This is how we're going to play football.
What
This
do
is
you
the
think's more
attacking
likely
football we're
still?
going to play.
Restructure the entire club and go through the academy like an Ajax project, or back Conte?
Henry, I just don't see these owners spending the money. I do not see them. I think these owners are actually shitting themselves because Conte, I bet you, has sat there and said, the state of this team, you need 50% of the squad replaced. 50%. And you need to replace them with real quality. And whoever was in that meeting would have said, shit, that's going to cost us 300 million easy. And that is where we're at as a club, I think.
Was another great call. Always good to speak to you as always, man. We could speak to you all night, but you know it is getting late.
We'll speak to
Probably
you
should
soon,
leave.
Stel.
But Stel, always good to see you, and we'll speak to you again very, very soon. Looking forward to it.
And just so you know, we are not losing to Arsenal on Sunday. Mark my words.
There you go. Well, a bit of positivity to end the call. Love it, Stel. Good to see you as always, man. Have a good one.
Take care, Stel.
Just a couple of super chats before we have actually one more caller, but we'll just read the super chats out first. Jerome says we had no one to bring that could change that game, but we did force Chelsea to bring 200 million worth of subs. I don't think we forced them to do it. I just think they were probably resting players for the weekend, I would say.
We got one from Tommy as well. It says, if part of Daniel Levy's business plan for the club is to build the fan base, let's see how well that goes when we finish 13th every year.
Exactly. In terms of, as someone said, I just read someone say in the comments, don't be delusional, Arsenal and West Ham are miles ahead of us. But I just don't understand. If they're miles ahead of us, why aren't they miles ahead of us in the league?
Because
why
we
aren't
had a new
they?
Manager bounce and we've got Antonio Conte. But as a squad...
Why?
You know,
But why? Why aren't they loads and loads of points ahead of us? They're
we've got a
not.
better manager.
Is that why?
Arteta is basically a pandemic version of Pep who puts the cones out. And David Moyes is a very good manager, but West Ham haven't chucked money at it. He steadied the ship, but Conte's come in, 8 games unbeaten, like you said, and we're on a good run. Granted, we haven't played, a lot of the big 6, but you can only beat what's in front of you at the end of the day.
That's the thing. I'm not saying that we're better than Arsenal or West Ham or anything. That's up for debate. I'm just saying the narrative that they're miles ahead of us is clearly not true. I just don't think it's true.
They'd be a lot higher.
They would be a lot higher than they're not. And in fact, if we beat Arsenal on Sunday, that's not that unthinkable, we're ahead of them. We're 2 games in hand. So how can they be miles ahead of us if that's the case? It just doesn't make sense.
A couple of points off West Ham, I think.
It doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's get the last caller on. Closing the show, even bigger bang than we thought. Let's get Ben on. How you doing, my brother? You all right?
Not good, man.
Not
Not
good?
good, man. Not good. I woke up this morning. I was watching last night. I was watching when we beat Chelsea 5-1 in 2002 in the Worthington Cup semi-final. I was watching 2006 when we beat Chelsea 2-1. I was watching 2008 when we beat them in the final. And all 3 of those games, there was a much bigger gap between Tottenham and Chelsea than there are now. I woke up today feeling a bit positive, confident. Maybe we can overturn something. Maybe it was a bit deluded of me. I mean, definitely it was a bit deluded of me. But when you look at it, when the lineups came out today,
it was over.
All confidence sapped out of my body, every single last ounce. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that anything would have changed if Lloris was playing or if this one was playing, that one was playing. but it just didn't fill you with confidence, did it? Galini makes the mistake for the goal. Not good enough at all in every area of the pitch. Why did it take till 60 minutes today for us to show any sort of passion in the game? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, that last half an hour we did show some fight, and we maybe you could argue we're unlucky not to at least get one goal. But
10 minutes.
Did we,
Yeah.
did
10
we show
minutes, I
fight,
thought.
or did still
But-
Chelsea just step off the gas?
but for me, I said this to Henry, like, I actually thought for the players we had on the pitch, that's the best we could have done, honestly, in terms of performance. I'm not angry at the performance. I'm angry at the state of our squad in terms of how bad the players are coming in. I was not angry. I thought when I watched the game, I was like, this is what I expect. We gave it a go, but Chelsea are just so far ahead of us. We were beaten by the better team. They are a better team than us, and sometimes you just got to accept that. And in terms of the performance wise, you don't have to accept it in terms of the squad, but like I don't think Conte. He could have played Lloris, but like there's not much he could have done.
Huh? I thought we'd still lose if we had Lloris.
Probably.
It's men against boys. Look at they are the finished article. They need maybe one player in there to go challenge for the Premier League again and win the Champions League again. We are, we're at the point where we're starting off again with Conte. Now, how many of our players actually start in Chelsea's team?
Not a lot. And this is what I was saying before the game. I didn't want to be negative, but with Son out, with Dyer out, I predicted us not to win that, and that was with Reguilon. This was me thinking Reguilon was going to play, and he didn't even play.
What is going on with Reguilon, by the way?
I don't know, because I don't know.
3 games now.
He said he rested him against Morecambe, but he didn't play.
Do you think there's something going on behind the scenes? Because let me get it straight, right? He rested him against Morecambe to prepare him for either this or the North London derby. He hasn't played any minutes, or he's not even in this squad.
Why is he not in the squad at all? That's about it. Harvey White was in the squad. Why is he not in the squad?
And he's what, 18, 19?
Harvey White, Dane Scarlett. I mean, I just don't get it. Ever since he got taken off at half-time in that Southampton game, he hasn't seen a minute.
I think if we don't see him on Sunday,
I think he's falling out if he's not in that North London derby.
If we don't see him on Sunday, there's something going on. But why didn't he start Sessegnon? I just don't understand it. I thought he played quite well when he came on Sess.
He did play well. I just don't understand it. I mean, it's Conte. It seems like Conte set us up to fail today, even though we were probably set up to fail with our injuries and all that. Yeah, you're completely right. But I don't understand some of the decisions Conte made today. I just don't understand them.
Is he sending a message to the board? That is the only thing it can be. These are our fringe players, the same players that have lost to Mura, Vitesse, Dynamo Zagreb.
There's a semi-final a place to do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, if Antonio Conte can't get a message to the board, then who can?
True.
You've brought in this elite manager that you're paying like 18, 19, 20 million a year, or how much. You want to give him the rebuild he deserves. He's sending you a message that I've played some of the players that are in our squad that you've signed over the years. The recruitment's been absolutely abysmal. We wanted Ruben Diaz and Bruno Fernandes, and we got Giovanni Lo Celso and Joe Rodon.
Yeah.
We were the favourites at one point to get Dybala,
Don't forget Jedson
Coutinho.
Fernandes.
Yeah, we were the favourites in the same. I remember the transfer window. I think it was 2 years ago in January. We were the favourites to get Coutinho, Dybala, Bruno Fernandes, and Lo Celso. Out of the 4 of them, we chose Lo Celso.
But and just quickly before I get your response, like we Conte was asked about the North London derby on Sunday, and he was asked how you feeling going into it, and he said, we better hope we get some players back, because when we have our first 11, that's our first 11, but as soon as we have 2 or 3 players injured or missing, then we're in trouble. That's his direct quote. I was watching him say it, and what do you think about that? Like, is that the case for you?
100%, 100% the case, and it's been the case pretty much all season, to be honest. Even over the past couple of seasons. I mean, we know this, what kind of situation we're in. When you're looking at the players who are outperforming themselves at the moment, you're looking at Eric Dyer, Ben Davis, Harry Winks, these kind of players who have been on the fringes for the last, 3, 4, 5 years at Spurs. Them kind of producing for us is not an indictment of how good they are. It's an indictment of how shit our squad is. And that's the facts of the matter. It's like our squad is nowhere near good enough. Our starting 11 is still nowhere near good enough to where we want to be. And our squad is even worse than that. Some of the players in our fringe squads are probably, I don't even know, some borderline championship players, Matt Doherty and stuff like that. Seriously. They're nowhere near good enough. And Conte is absolutely spot on. He's absolutely spot on. And unless we get serious backing in January or the summer, mainly January. Because if we don't get any backing this January, we ain't getting top 4. There's no.
Do you think Conte walks? I mean, you've said it pretty much all night to me. You think Conte will walk in the summer if he doesn't get what he wants? Do you think?
I don't think he walks mid-season.
I was going to say, do you think that's what I was going to say? Do you think there's a chance he walks mid-season?
I think if we don't sign anyone this January transfer window, which I think we will, it looks like we will. If we don't sign anyone, I'm pretty confident he would walk. If we sign maybe one player, and that one player is Adama Traore, and we get out Steven Bergwijn, I wouldn't blame him for walking, but I don't know if he would, but I wouldn't blame him at all. Because what's he got to work with from now until the end of the season? What's the point?
It's the same players that keep letting him down game after game, week after week. And, I think there's a bit more to that Reguilon thing. I just literally see on Twitter a second ago that there could be some stuff backstage.
Is he like what?
I was saying that before inside the ground. I was saying that. It's too strange for him not to play 3 games in a row when games are coming so thick and fast. The fullbacks expend so much energy in his system.
And
it makes no sense for him not to get any minutes. Doesn't make sense.
It's not like he's been on the bench and not come on and we're saving him. Like you are there just for an insurance policy. He's not even involved. He wasn't even in the stadium tonight, apparently.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that's worrying from us. Even when the likes of we played against Chelsea, the home leg, Reece James was sitting there in his basketball top, still supporting the boys. If that is true that Reguilon's not in the stadium, then what's going on? Because you are fully fit, you've been rested, you didn't play the game against the League One side, Morecambe. You didn't play tonight. If he doesn't play the North London derby, then clearly Conte doesn't get on with Reguilon or rate Reguilon, and I personally think he's our best wing back. Well, he's not. And even if wing back.
Even if you don't want to play
Reguilon was there,
don't play bloody Matt Doherty. What's that?
Someone in the comments just said Reguilon was there. I was at the game.
Who is it saying he's not on Twitter?
Did he see him?
That's this guy, Jason S. in the comments, that said Reguilon was there.
Then why is he not on the bloody bench?
I don't know.
What I'm saying is, if you're not going to play Reguilon, fair enough. You don't want to play Reguilon, that's fair enough. But play bloody Sessegnon. Don't play Matt Doherty time and time again. How many times are we going to have to sit through a Matt Doherty performance?
Do you think he's doing that to the club go, right, we've got to sell him, he's not good enough? Do you think he's proving a point? Because even after that first game, I think you are right. The more people say, I think he's just thrown this tie, and it's a point to the board. It wouldn't surprise me in the morning if we see the likes of Ali Gold or Kilpatrick come out and say they're going to back Conte. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm probably being a bit delusional here, but there's got to be a bounce back from this. There has to.
There has to be. I completely agree with you, but a semi-final against Chelsea when you're still in the game at 2-0 down, and you are still in the game at 2-0 down, that is no time to throw in the towel. You give
one goal and it all changes, doesn't it?
Exactly. We've seen it before. Like I said, go back to that 2002 semi-final. We lost 2-1 at Stamford Bridge. We score a goal within 3 minutes. We win the tie 5-1. And we absolutely put pressure on them, aggressive. The fans are on their back. If we got an early goal tonight, everything could have been different. Everything could have been different. And to be honest, I don't even think Chelsea have been that good over the 2 legs.
We gave them all their goals that they scored.
Literally
gave it to. It's not like defensive positioning or anything, because like literally we passed it to them and they scored. That's like literally every time.
I haven't seen the replay of the goal tonight, but was it as bad as it looked in the stands?
It's probably worse, I would say, than it looked. It was horrific.
It's embarrassing.
It wasn't one of those where Galini's come for it, where he had no right to come for it. It wasn't one of those. He absolutely had a right to come for it. He just completely missed it. He completely missed it, and it went straight in. It was horrific from Galini, that mistake. Although,
why is he starting tonight? Why?
To be fair, I didn't think. Apart from that, I didn't think he had a terrible game. But yeah, it was a horrific mistake. Well, Conte addressed that in terms of why he was saying. He said we've got a lot of important. He said first of all, before I came, Galini was playing in all the cup games. And he said he doesn't understand why fans are frustrated because he thought he had a good game. And last week they lost 2-0 with Hugo in goal, and this week they lost 1-0 with Galini in goal. So he doesn't think that. He said, what did he say? He said, "Trust me, we have more pressing issues. Believe me."
But
that's definitely true. That's definitely true.
That's what he ended. He said, "Believe me, we have more issues than that."
We only lost 1-0, but the game was over.
Yeah, it was
Chelsea had
over
no
at 3-0.
reason to come for us. If they really wanted to attack us, they could have won that game 2 or 3-0 as well tonight. But someone's just put in the chat. I can't remember where the message was, but apparently Reguilon's just carrying an injury.
A lot of people said he was definitely there. He was seen on camera.
Then who is it? Or sound on Twitter? Let me see.
A lot of people in the comments saying he was definitely seen on camera. He was carrying a knock from the Southampton game,
But there's been no scan.
but the official thing after Morecambe was that he was rested, not injured. He said Dyer was injured, but Reguilon was rested. That's what he said. So it's very weird about what maybe he's aggravated the injury. I don't know. It's very strange. But we haven't heard anything. We'll have to wait and see.
Get your money out your pocket, Levy. Get your checkbook out, man. We need signings desperately. This club is dying before our very eyes, man.
Ben, where do you think we're going to finish if we don't get any signings?
7th.
It depends. For me, it depends on injuries.
Yeah, Kane gets injured. We have.
If Kane gets injured, we can finish bottom half. But like if most of our players stay fit, then I think we're still pretty competitive. And I think that's what Conte believes.
I think you're right, but I don't think we can do it with the same 11 week in, week out. It's just natural. Players are going to get injured. Our squad is short anyway. You've got Arsenal as well. They're very short. They've got no midfielders at the moment. I mean, I've said it time and time again. I think Arsenal are playing well at the moment, but I don't think they're going to finish top 4. I actually think Man United are going to finish top 4 this year. I think they're going to find something. They're going to turn it around.
As soon as they get their act together, that'll be it. West Ham, you've got to remember they are playing well, but they got Europa League to come back.
Yeah, if they get knocked out Europe early.
I don't see it. I think they're a decent team. They are a good team, but they're not a team that is going to go, like, for example, if they're like 4 points ahead with 5 games to go, are they really going to like put it out of question that they're not going to drop points? Like, they could easily
West
drop
Ham
points.
will falter at the end. West Ham remind me of when we were going for top 4, like under the AVB eras and all that kind of stuff. Harry Redknapp, early days of them, where you're flirting with the idea of top 4, but you'll fall short, right? Somewhat towards the end.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they're good enough to trust them consistently.
They all believe.
And that'll get them. That'll get them probably top 7, which is good for them.
Where'd they finish last year? 5th.
Yeah, 5th, 6th, 5th. We finished 7th,
5th,
didn't we? We finished 7th.
I think they finished
there were
5th.
only a few games off from finishing top 4 last year. So
yeah, but they had no Europe.
Yeah, true. If they buy maybe a couple of players this January.
If they buy, then yeah. But I think West Ham are decent, but they're not a team I would fear about getting top 4 if we sign some players.
I think when you're looking at the state of West Ham and Arsenal, we look the weakest at the moment.
100%.
Yeah, but then again, if we win our games now, we could be above them. So you know what I mean. Obviously, you could say, "Oh, yeah, well, I know. Are we going to if buts and maybes?" But we're still in a position, right, where they're nowhere near far. Like they're not far away from us at all.
I know, but there's a long way to go, man. There's a long way to go. And if this negative feeling keeps festering at Spurs, we don't get any signings.
I'm saying we could be in Arsenal's position in the league, and you'd be saying, "Oh, but they have games in hand on us, and they're betting better."
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Trying to see it from both sides.
I'm just saying, like, if they were that good, they would be a lot better than us. Because we've been terrible this season, right? We've been terrible this season.
That good. No one's saying they're that good. Who's saying they're that good?
I'm just saying, like,
you know what I mean?
We're not. They're really not far from us.
They're not far at all. Of course they're not. But a few more games, if we lose a few more games and they win a few more games, things can change very quickly in football. And if this negative feeling keeps festering at Spurs and we don't get any more signings and we have to go into the rest of this season with this exact squad, they're going to finish above us for sure. For sure.
Oh, yeah. But let's just hope we get some signings.
Yeah, let's hope. Get your bloody checkbook out.
Agreed. But look,
and this is so frustrating. I can't keep going to games like this, going, yeah, all confident, yeah, we're going to win the game, and then just within the first minute, you can just see the tone of the game. You could just see the tone of the players. Rubbish,
I actually thought we started fairly well first 10 minutes.
Yeah, to be honest, we did.
But then I told you, we'll have a fast start and you'll be fooled by it, and they'll come into it, Chelsea.
Yeah, but even the fast start we had, it's not like we laid a glove on them.
No, it was 10 minutes and that was it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We're going for a couple of body shots.
All right, well, look, it's nearly 1 a.m. Henry
Yeah, I
probably
just
needs to go
wanna
home.
Yeah, I think you guys get some deserved sleep. You guys need to go home. But Henry, absolutely brilliant job today. Thanks for filling in, bro.
No worries at all. Pleasure to be on.
Always
It's great
good.
to have you. Really good job.
And
yeah,
Ben, we'll see you
hopefully
tomorrow morning.
next time to get a win. And but hope you're not the bad luck, Henry.
Nah,
Quite a lot of people have put that on there. Like first time we've lost. I just hope
we've
we
had
beat
enough
Arsenal.
losses here. Don't worry, Henry. It's not your fault. We'll see you in the morning, Ben, for a good morning Tottenham, where we can dissect this defeat even further. Fantastic stuff.
Great. I'm looking forward to a whole day of therapy tomorrow.
Maybe a signing will be announced tomorrow. We can only pray. All right. We'll see you again soon.
All right. See you later,
Nice
guys.
one, guys. And that is everything. Let me just read out 2 super chats, and that'll be it. Jory says, "I promised my son Jonas that if Conte leaves, so will we, and he gets to pick our new club." So Jory's threatening to leave. There you go. Might not be the only one. And Will Stewart says, "Sim, Conte said that someone had an injury but wouldn't name a name. Maybe Reggie." So maybe Reggie is injured. Maybe that's
Obviously,
it.
we don't know for certain, but we're only speculating at the moment. But we're clutching on straws. That could be any of our 25 players.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll learn more tomorrow. But Henry, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in the studio. Thank you for joining me
no
today.
worries,
Everyone
pleasure.
go over to Henry Wright TV on YouTube and subscribe to his channel. He does great Spurs content, to go over and subscribe. But thank you, everyone, for calling in and all your interactions and your super chats. Thank you all for joining us today. Unfortunately, we didn't get the result we wanted. But we go again with the North London derby, so let's all get pumped up for that. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.